Well, good evening. It's Friday night, and that means it's time for some Jimmy Broadbent 2.4 hour series action. And appropriately, it's at Silverstone. Of course, appropriately because it is the British Grand Prix this weekend as well. So it's great to be at the home of British motor racing in Northamptonshire, bringing you the action from tonight's race. My name's Adam D. Welcome along to oNiD Racing, bringing you this coverage live this evening. I am Johnny-less tonight, though. Take that however you want to. No Johnny tonight, but that means I've replaced him with a younger, better, more attractive model. I don't know what he looks like, but he's definitely a better model. Anyway, good evening, Ryan Davies.
Good evening, Mr. D. Thanks for the intro. Not sure if I'm going to top that all evening, to be honest.
I also don't know whether you are younger than Johnny or not. I just described that you are, but I'm just going to assume that you are.
And that I am.
Nothing can be worse than Johnny on a Friday night. So here we go. Well, thank you for coming and joining me in the comms box tonight. I don't think we've heard you on the mic before.
We haven't. Normally engaged in series, so it's nice to be sat here having a chat with yourself tonight, as opposed to locking horns on track.
And we have certainly done some horn locking over the past couple of months, haven't we? I still think back to that side by side lap at Kyle Army. Just man,
one of the greatest racing laps that I've had, and hopefully we'll see something like it tonight with these boys.
Yes. I think we're in for some good fun tonight. First of all, just jumping into the chat. I'm certainly not dumping into the chat, don't worry. We've got quite a few with us this evening already, which is great to see. Steve from SGP's there, Vern Wazza, good evening. Heike van der Veen in there early doors. He's described you as a weirdo already, Ryan, but that's exactly what you expect. We've got Mr. Shouting in chat as well. Earl of Ipswich has subscribed at tier 1 as well. Thank you for that. And he says, let's go full send tonight. See how you get on. We've got first time chat from Maximilian EB as well. And no doubt some more of you coming to join us in chat as we go along. Feel free to interact with us all the way through. It is a 2.4 hour race, so we're not just going to be full out commentating on this. We would love your input and your questions and your feedback as we go along. Ryan, Silverstone, like it, hate it, what do you think?
In terms of the track, I'd say it's up there with one of the great tracks. Again, Mr. Vern Wazza and I had an awesome battle there, Rookie League Season 1. Basically 4 or 5 laps side by side, so plenty of opportunities for overtaking, the cutbacks into the chicane section. It's going to provide some good racing, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know how much you remember the old version of Silverstone. I don't know whether you're old enough to have experienced that much in the past, but what do we think? New version of Silverstone or the old version? What do we like?
Well, I'm old enough to admit that I went to the Formula 1 in 2009. So
nice.
Using the older stuff, I would say that I prefer this newer version here. Obviously, being a big touring car fan and stuff, it obviously throws me off a little bit that they start in a different place and whatnot. Regards to where turn 1 is. But again, turn 1 on both the layouts, nice and wide and stuff. Easy to invalidate on your first time lap as well.
Yeah, isn't it just? In fact, there's loads of places that you can invalidate your lap around here, so we'll have to keep our eyes out for drive-throughs and things like that. And can be a bit of a tricky pit lane to get your stopping right or your slowing down right for the pit lane entry. Just back in chat, Vern Wazza asking, who's on comms with you tonight? It is Ryan Davies, so somebody you have raced against Steve in the past, and Hiker beating me to it just. Explaining who it is alongside me. We have got qualifying started, so don't forget this is a multi-class series, so we've got both GT3s and GT4s out on track tonight. Right now it's GT4 qualifying, so at the moment it's Godrecki in pole with a 2:11.257. Then you got Thorne, Cox, Zalecki, Rodriguez, Kode, Bain, Chittle, Wang, Van Stevelen, and Bell. And we did just see a Beaton slip in to 9th as well. Let's go pick up on Willie Thorne, or will he not? Driving the Alpine. Oh yes, this is the man. This is the man with the great team name. Willie Thorne eats big dinners. What do you think about team names? You one of those comedic team names, or do you go with a sort of more?
I mean, we've seen some adventurous ones through the leagues. I think there's one running at the minute about sausage eating and stuff.
Le sausage, le mon cher.
Yeah, some tread quite close to the edge, but the wittier the better.
Fantastic development.
Yeah, we have had a few tread very close to the edge. Maximilian EB with the follow. So he dropped the chat in earlier. He's carried on listening. He obviously likes what he's hearing. He's hit the follow button. If you're joining us for the first time and you haven't hit the follow button before, then please do so. It helps us grow and do all this good stuff that we're doing with Jimmy Broadbent as well. So we're still hoping that Jimmer can come and join us for one of these 2.4 hour races before the end of the season. As you know, the man is pretty busy these days. It's always a pleasure to be commentating on a Jimmy Broadbent event, though, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the stuff that Jimmy does, I think, is a lot of the reason that a lot of people have got into sim racing. I mean, myself for one, watching his videos and stuff, it's just a good reason to get into sim racing, I guess. See the fun that you can have.
Yeah, and I'm another one to go on that train as well. It was watching Jimmy Broadbent videos that got me into sim racing, and then I slipped into the deep black hole of sim racing, and now I am fully wedged in that deep black hole, unfortunately, or very fortunately, whatever way you look at it. So Ryan, not many people will know anything about you, especially those that are coming here to watch the Jimmer event. So tell us who you are, your involvement in sim racing, what you do, a bit of background, all that kind of stuff.
So obviously from a young age, played on console, Need for Speed, Project Cars, that sort of thing. And then once the lockdowns kicked in, I was actually part of a group of, not being one myself, of military veterans who used to get together on a Thursday night and basically just haul some ass on Project Cars 2.
Oh, nice.
Started off with a controller. And then a controller leads to, your steering wheel and pedals and stuff, which then leads to a rig and a curved monitor and a PC and the endless money pit that is sim racing.
And what's your main gig on sim racing these days? What do you race mainly?
It's got to be ACC. I've obviously got into R Factor 2 with the new BTCC DLC and stuff. Can't seem to get to grips with the physics models and stuff. So sort of stuck it out with ACC. Obviously, jumping across from Xbox to PC was day and night, the differences between them. Fired the Xbox up a couple of weeks ago and just couldn't set a lap. I don't know whether it was tyre models and stuff. But yeah, just the gradual progression. Sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but seeing how I've got quicker and stuff. And just being able to, enter into leagues such as this and the leagues that oNiD do, amongst with other guys, where you can just, really work on your racecraft and stuff and stick it to the man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, military veteran group, what's your military background, if you don't mind me asking?
So myself, non-personally, I got involved through a friend of a friend. Um, Met quite a few of the people that I raced with on here. Our very own Stockman Goldman was one of the guys. Again, he started out, sat on a leather sofa with a steering wheel strapped to an ironing board when we first started racing. And now he's got a rig that I'm very, very jealous of. But no, it's good. So, we all met up when everywhere opened again. We went to Cappy and a machine, sort of met up real world. And it's nice to put, faces to the voices that you hear through your head.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when he says that, he's not talking about voices in his head in a bad way. He's talking about all of us chatting whilst we race. Meanwhile, as we see Dave Zalecki just sliding off track down in the club chicane. So your current order is Thorne from Goodrecki, then Beaton, Cox, Kode, Rodriguez, Zalecki, Chittle, Woodley, Bain, Winkler, Wang, DeTass, Van Stevelen and Bell. We will be getting the GT3s out on track in about 3.5 minutes time. Hiker in chat says, mate, the growth from the first race we did together from you is amazing. So yeah, it's definitely been noticed. You certainly have come on leaps and bounds in the last few months, and it's always nice to come across a clean racer that you can enjoy a battle with.
Yeah, so example, going back to Steve Worrell and yourself, when you can, leagues with this where you'll learn to trust drivers and stuff, you can just have some of the most amazing battles as opposed to jumping in pub lobs and getting speared at T1 Monza kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this guy that I've just jumped to on stream now as well is another one of those drivers that I enjoy a battle with, Stevie Bain. He's great to have a battle with, always clean, always fun. But the problem for me is that this guy is getting too quick for me. I can't battle him anymore. He's absolutely flying away. And actually that being shown right now in the fact that he's right on pace with Dave Zalecki, who in oNiD world is a bit of a GT4 specialist. But interesting to see some of the pace that's out there tonight. A 2:10 in a GT4 around Silverstone is a bit of a sweaty lap, that one.
Yeah, I'm interested to know with the latest update as well. Obviously, the GT4 tyre model's been updated, so if anyone could jump in chat and let us know how it's feeling, if the tyres are coming quick or anything.
That's a good point, yeah. Yeah, obviously there was an update yesterday for ACC. Now, of course, the big focus of that was the USA track pack, and I'm sure we'll chat about that shortly. But also, you're right, there were some changes in there, and one of them was some changes to the GT4 tyre model. They didn't exactly explain what the changes were, just that there were some changes. So yeah, if you're feeling something different, then jump in the chat and let us know, and be interested to hear your input. Now, it also seemed to do some kind of weird update that caused my PC some issues whilst racing last night. I think we've fixed those. Hopefully we have. But just so you know, if the stream does go down at any point tonight, then it probably will be the end of the stream. But fingers crossed, we got to the bottom of it last night. Thanks to Johnny and crew working through that with me late last night to try and sort that so that we were ready for tonight. But hopefully we are. We're watching Leah Van Stevelen. So this is teammates with Dan Hyde tonight, driving the Ginetta, currently 13th. And seeing whether Leah can make any improvement before the end of their session. Are you a GT4 fan as well, or mainly GT3?
I am, because I'm leading the championship in the Tuesday night series at the minute.
Oh, are you?
If in the championship, then maybe not so much. Yeah, I mean, before 2 weeks ago, I'd only done a couple of laps in GT4 cars. Signed up for the Tuesday night GT4 league, and the level of racing, because the cars are so well comparable. It's the racing is just so close.
Yes, yeah, it is, and that Tuesday night league is always a absolute belter of a league. I'm actually I mean, I love a bit of streaming, but I'm actually gutted to be streaming that one this year rather than racing it, because that is a great fun league to compete in.
Yeah, you can take my spot on Tuesday night if you'd like. Unfortunately, I miss out on Barcelona, so championship lead's for taking for I think Royce is close at the minute. So after the battle that we had at Imola Park, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season racing with them.
Indeed. Well, coming towards the end of the session for the GT4s now. These guys on their final laps. The GT3s are streaming out of the pits as we speak. It'll be interesting to see how anyone driving the Bentley or the Aston V8 get on tonight, because they were two cars that were given some BOP updates last night or yesterday in the update as well. So we'll see how they get on. Just watching Dave Zalecki come towards the end of his lap. He's 6/10 up at the moment, so he could put himself up into 5th here with this lap, and does. So there we go. Dave up to 5th with that lap in the BMW. So what GT4 are you driving in the Tuesday League then?
I'm an Aston Martin man, both GT3 and GT4. Just because I find that using the same car, I can sort of relate to braking points, gear shifts, that sort of thing. I'm too much of a girl to go separate cars kind of thing. And this is a man that I'm actually quite curious to see how he gets on, because Martin Thorpe is a very quick guy, and in this Aston tonight, if it's got more revs, especially on the straights, it's going to be one to be contended with.
Yeah, definitely. That was apparently the main update with the Aston V8, wasn't it? Was so it revs better out of the corners and gets out of corners quicker.
Yeah, out of the corners, it's definitely got more revs now. It doesn't feel like it's bogging out as much. The understeer is still there, but that's just a trait of the Aston Martin, so we live with that one.
Dave Zalecki's in chat. Dave, let us know. I mean, feel free to jump in the comms box if you want for the rest of qualifying. But we are intrigued to know whether you can feel a big difference in the GT4 tyre model after the update. So feel free to let us know. Pink Boy in chat as well. P2 in class. So that will be. Let me have a look. Godraki, welcome. P2 in class messed up my last lap. Well, it's a long race, so P2 is a pretty good place to be starting from anyway. So fair play to you. So let's go on board with Martin Thorpe as he goes through Cops, which is turn 1 on the GT layout. He takes that short run down to the left at Maggots, flicks it right through Beckett's, and then takes the left, right, and then a further left. This one's Chapel, out onto the Hangar Straight. Some of the names of around this track are related to its old airfield usage in the war. Down into Stowe, so named because it is the closest corner to the famous old Stowe School, which is over yonder. Now dips down through the Vale and up into the left right of Club. Great place to watch the action, especially this grandstand on the left here. So avoid the sausage on the right, out of Club and down the Hamilton Straight as it's now called. Flick right through Abbey, which is pretty much flat out in a Formula 1 car these days. And now we're coming into what is the much newer section in Farm through the right hand side there, and then left at the loop, and that Aston just looking a little bit slidey through the loop, then hooking a flat left out onto the Wellington Straight, another one of the aircraft named parts of the track, down into Brooklands, and then we're going to take a right through Luffield, which is just a single corner these days. I still remember the days when it was Luffield 1 and Luffield 2. Kicks the throttle out through Woodcote, keeping it as far right as he can and across the start-finish line. And Thorpe goes 7th so far. So we've got Fleety in the Audi out front at the moment. Favourite corner around Silverstone, Ryan?
It's got to be Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. So many opportunities to get it right, but at the same time, just the same amount of opportunities to get it so wrong and stick it across the grass. You've got to make sure your exit onto the straight is just perfect as well, otherwise you're just going to get eaten down the straights as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Just jumping back into chat, quite a few of you there. Oh, Bain's there. Good evening, Bain. How are we, sir? Dave says, haven't noticed any difference in the tyres, I must say, though I don't drive the GT4 M4 a lot. Okay, well, see how it feels through the race. Pink Boy saying he's struggling heavily with frame rate. First big race in ACC since 2019. Now, last night, I had an issue with frame rate, and I'm convinced that something came from the update. I had to change my anti-aliasing to a different setting, and that seemed to fix it. So it might be worth just jumping into your video settings. You don't have to quit the server to do that. Jump into your video settings and just try a different anti-aliasing filter, see how you get on. Dave says bump bump bump. The exit of Chapel feels like a roller coaster. Yeah, I can imagine. Meanwhile, of all the drivers that you would want to make sure that they practice the pit entry, it would be Steve Bain, really. And he says, guess who forgot to practice the pit lane? Drive through incoming for Bain, that's for sure. Lamatek says, go Zebras. And Pink Boy says, I lowered basically everything to low. My CPU is struggling, the old boy. Oh, bless it, bless it. Might just be worth having a look at that anti-aliasing though, see what we do. So, Peter Brett has gone top. That's a lap and a half, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, that's an amazing lap. I mean, to go, basically a 158 flat, that's hauling ass. To do it in the Porsche as well. Porsche 1-2 at the minute. Yeah, well, Porsche 1-2, Audi 1-2, so, but all four drivers there, obviously, each of them with, in the two cars, obviously finding good balances on each one.
Yeah, Brett's about to dip into the 57s. He does a 57.877, so he goes even faster. Meanwhile, though, Sam Fleety is on a pretty good lap. He's a couple of tenths up. Look how close that top four is. Looking really, really close. But here comes Fleety now. He's 2 tenths up. Walters is also 2 tenths up as well. So we'll watch Fleety to the end of his lap, and then we'll take a look at Walters as well, because he's now flashing purple. Peter Brett just leaving the pits for another run. But here comes Fleety then, out of the final corner, through the flick right at Woodcote, and across the line. He goes 20 thousandths of a second off of pole. How close do you want it?
So close.
Meanwhile, Walters is 2 tenths up as well, so this is going to put him there or thereabouts. He's currently just under 2 tenths off of pole, so this Audi looking good as he takes to the newer part of the track. Fleety is 2 tenths up on his follow-up lap, so he's having a good follow-up as well. So Peter Brett needs to hope that that new set of boots and any little changes that he just made there in his brief return to the pits has done the trick. Ryan, are you one of those drivers who likes to just get out there and be out for the entirety of the session, or do you like to dip back in the pits and get a new set of boots?
I mean, from how things have been recently, I've sort of changed my style. I used to like to be first one out there, banging in the laps, making the most of the time. But I found recently that, let everyone pile out at first, find yourself a nice gap, 5 seconds in front, 5 seconds behind kind of thing, and just work from there. You're not going to have people coming flying up behind you, which then leads to the potential of making a mistake and invalidating. Also gives you a chance to put a good banker lap in as well. Which on a track like Silverstone at nearly 2 minutes a lap is pretty important to at least get a banker lap on the board.
Yeah, certainly is, and that's what some of these drivers have been doing, and then slowly but surely improving them. I think we are about to see Sam Fleety go to the point. He is 2/10 up on this lap as he comes out of Woodcut now, crosses the line, and he goes a 57.7. So, yeah, just over a 1/10.5 clear of Peter Brett now. So we will keep an eye on Brett. In fact, let's go join Brett on board because he has just started his next lap. Might come across some traffic though. Well, it looks like that fellow Porsche is getting right out of the way quite nicely. That's what you love to see in it, Ryan.
Yeah, especially, he got well out of the way in the middle of the straight as well. Last thing you want to be doing, on a flying lap is catching someone in the entry or the apex of a corner that you're coming up to.
Having driven the Lexus last night, I'm just sat here admiring how much front end that Porsche's got. He flicked it into stow and it just stuck. I was like, what? Cars do that?
Yeah, the Lexus has got a lot of straight line speed from 5th gear onwards, but the front end of it is, especially like around tracks like Silverstone, Suzuka and stuff, you find the front end just slides everywhere.
Oh man, that trying to get it round Alton Park last night was, yeah. Anyway, less said about last night the better. Heike van der Veen says it's another PB for me. Shame that the field is too strong. Well, he's clarified that as so strong. Well, Heike, just think, a year ago, would you have even thought you'd be competing in a field like this? So great to have you with us and putting in PBs. That's all you can do is keep getting better and better. Peter Brett about to come across the line and go back into pole position. He does with a 57.6. How low can these times get in this session?
This is punch for punch now. This last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, we've got Brett and Fleety and Walters all battling hard over pole. You then got the likes of Earl and Zildzovic not too far off. Foldesi is 6th. Then you got Foster, Giroud, Krebs, Austin, Thorpe, Jongen, Jacobs, BP, Ebert, Banks, Kasbergen, De Doid, Raffanica, Hearn, Tramp and Prescott. And then I have to go onto my other screen to see what comes up next. Then it's Jurien Reinars, Heike van der Veen, Janus Schouten, and then you go into the GT4s after that. 41 cars we will have on track for tonight's race. That's not a bad way to start a 2.4 hour event, is it?
No, especially into turn 1, that amount of cars. The driver's going to have to keep an eye on the left side, the right side. It's luckily Silverstone turn 1. You can take a bit of a touring car line. If you get run out wide. You've got to be careful of that later in the race if you're battling with people, though, because you will get track limit warnings there.
Yes, Steve Bain, you will get track limit warnings. Steve, meanwhile, in chat saying, glad I'm in a GT4 would seem very slow otherwise. Yeah. He also says, I'm listening. Yeah, and any other track cut warning advice for Bain?
Going back to his pit lane entry, actually heard on the Formula 1 before that it works out quicker to take the pit lane entry, as opposed to making a lap sometimes. Not sure if that's the case on here, though.
No, definitely not, because they use a different pit lane.
In the Formula 1?
Yeah, in the Formula 1 they use the Formula 1 pit lane. And in GTs we're in the old pit lane.
We're in the old pit lane here, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Catches everyone out, that one, when we stream ACC. Kanai, I don't know if I've pronounced that right, says, is there a stream for GT4? Yeah, we're streaming both races. GT4 qualifying has already been and gone. So we certainly will be following the GT4 action through the race, as well as the GT3s as well. Bain says straight lining Maggots and Beckett's. Maybe not. Hiker says hope the pit board survives the race. I think it's a little bit safer because I'm not racing. I was the one who took it out in the Sunday Night League and caused everyone problems. Meanwhile, Sam Fleety has just returned to pole, and Brett is back in the pits, so I don't think he's going to be beaten to that pole of 57.5. That is one hell of a lap.
Yeah, the times really came tumbling down over the last 4 or 5 minutes there, and yeah, they've taken good chunks out of each other there.
They have indeed. We're just picking up with Martin Thorpe. He is a couple of tenths up on his best at the moment. Just trying to get his head round the updated Aston, no doubt, for the esports car racing team. Car number 5. Different to see him in a red, gold and black machine rather than his sort of Cadbury's caramel coloured machine. But he's coming out of Luffield now. He is half a second up, so this could leap him. It could leap him as far as 6th, and it does. It puts him exactly 6th. So there we go. A great final lap from Martin Thorpe. He was your pick for pole, wasn't he?
He was. Doing the Aston boys proud there. Good to see one that high up.
Absolutely. He didn't quite get the pole that you were suggesting, but
we'll glance over that one.
No. Your prediction was terrible. See, you didn't realise what you'd let yourself in for, really, did you?
No, absolutely not.
oNiD Racing, come for the racing, stay for the abuse. That's generally how it works. So, just to explain the format to you tonight, it's a 2.4 hour race, which in minutes is 2 hours and 24 minutes of racing. Race start time is 4 PM in game. Track is set at optimum. The weather looks pretty tasty right now. 23 degrees air temperature, which equates to 29 degree track temperature, and there's barely any wind out there at all. What you've got in terms of format is some cars are running 2 drivers. Some cars are single crewed. Single crewed, Jesus, that's... yeah, that'll be hard for a 2 hour 24 race. But there's no advantage or disadvantage, apart from tiredness, to having 1 or 2 drivers, because every single car must serve 3 mandatory pit stops, which are mandatory for tyres. Now, the reason for that is to make sure that they are minimum 30-second stops to allow for those cars that have got driver swaps to do so without being penalised against the single drivered cars. Did that make sense, Ryan?
You couldn't have described that any better if you tried. I was about to say to you, what is a 2.4 hour series, but we've nailed it with that one.
We have. Now, your screen will go black momentarily because ACC just did the crashy thing. Not my PC, just ACC this time, which is a new one. So we are just going to fire that one back up and get back in. Thankfully, with a spectator password, we can rejoin whenever we want. But you're currently looking at ACC loading up in the background. So professional as always, Ryan.
Always.
Yeah.
Thanks, you mate, because mine's actually done exactly the same thing.
Ooh, let's hope that there's not an issue out there. And also, I don't want to search for oNiD because this is a Jimmy Broadbent event. So hopefully it hasn't caused an issue for anyone else. Hopefully that was just a me and you issue and not an everyone issue. But let's wait and see. Nope, everyone is on track.
Good. We're looking good.
We are looking good indeed. So now I just need to reconnect my broadcasting software, and then I can change your timing tower, and we are back to life again. Phew, thank goodness for that. Now,
so one race ahead, Adam. Let's get it out of the way now. Who's going to win?
I shall let you make the prediction first.
Ooh.
See how I got out of that one.
First time in the comms box. Oh, we're gonna go with Brett in the Porsche.
Okay.
And for the GT4s, it's got to be the pole man, Willie Thorne.
Okie dokie. Well, Kanahi says Godrecki in GT4 for the win. So there we go. That's a good prediction there. I'm torn with my GT3 prediction. I'm going to go with Zildzovic. I've come across him before in the Next Level Racing Cup that Johnny and I commentated on a few weeks back, and a particularly quick driver. So I'll go with Zildzovic. The other one I was toying up was that car 14 of Earl and Worrell. They're always very quick come race time. So there we go. And then for GT4s, I'm going to go with our very own Dave Zalecki. I think he'll come good in the race with that BMW. We are hoping for a nice dry race, but you never know. The rain gods could drop something on Silverstone at some point during the race. Do you like the wet?
I didn't used to. Become quite accustomed to it now.
What, driving at oNiD, you have to, yeah?
Yeah, you sort of have to a little bit, don't you? Once you find your rhythm in it, you know, and sort of learn where the track's puddling up and stuff, then yeah, it provides some good racing.
Talking about good racing, we are about to do some good racing, I would hope, because these guys now just coming into Luffield. Yeah, WVO pointing out that we've got a Thorpe and a Thorn. Yes, we have indeed. And Carrie Fox 77 with a Let's Go Leah. So we'll keep an eye across the entire field as much as we can. But right now, we'll take a look at the front of the field, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on as best as we can. We'll take a couple of laps for things to really settle down. But here we go. We're about to go racing. We're waiting for that green light, and we are away for 2 hours and 24 minutes of racing here at Silverstone in Northamptonshire in the middle of England. Here we go. Green light, and we are away, and Fleety makes a good start, and we'll hold that inside line into turn one. Brett trying to pressure him though, gets the old switcheroo on the exit, and these front two going at it straight away. Brett trying to get alongside as they head into Maggots. That's the tuck back inside as they now go up through Beckett's and into Chapel as well. I haven't seen much in the way of yellow flags through the field, so Ryan, I think we've got away pretty cleanly.
Yeah, I was following the GT4 pole leader, and from where they were sat, no yellow flags. Looked like you say, everyone got through nicely. We have got a drive-through showing for Arbel, out of track position maybe.
Yeah, it's the only thing it could be really that early on, isn't it? His track position off the line. But Sam Fleety continues on in the lead for the Cracked Racing team. Takes us away across the start-finish line of the Formula One circuit. We've got the field bunching up quite nicely as they come into Abbey. We've got Austin and Foldesi going together. We've got two cars off as well. So Jongen's off on the outside, but we also saw a car off at Abbey. But right now we're watching Foldesi and Austin and Giraud going at it hammer and tong for 10th place overall. So make that 9th. In fact, make that 8th. Foldesi's 8th, Austin 9th, and Giroud is 10th. We've got a side by side.
Godrecki through on Thorn for the GT4 lead as well. Cox is just on Thorn as well, so Thorn down to 3rd.
Wow, so we've just seen Martin Thorpe getting shuffled out of the way by Foster as well. So let's go check it. So who is our leader in GT4 now?
We've got Godrecki leading the GT4 at the minute, and it looks like we might have Andy Hearn in trouble in the 666 at NSX.
Yeah, he's diving straight for the pits. Yeah, that bonnet is not properly attached anymore, so he is in some trouble. We've also got Steve Bain sort of right down towards the back of the field as well. Now under some pressure from Van Stevelen. So let's pick up Godrecki. So here is your leader in GT4, just ahead of Kevin Cox. So Godrecki in the AKP sim racing team, just ahead of that Ginetta of Kevin Cox that you see right behind us. We see Dave Zalecki running out a little bit wide in the background. I think Dave has just lost a position as a result of that. No, quickly regains it. In fact, he is side by side with Beaton as they come out of Chapel and down the Hangar Straight. Zalecki now cleanly in front and retakes that position. Meanwhile, this battle rumbles on. Jongen trying to recover from whatever incident there was a little bit earlier in the Dutch Endurance Team Gold car. Battling with Ebert in front in the BMW and Giroud behind, and Ben P therefore making up a position up the inside of Giroud. It looked like a fairly robust pass, should we just say.
Yeah, full elbows out on that one. Bit of the old Rubbins Racing's ethos.
Indeed, indeed, you love to see it. Guido Trampa. Oh my goodness! I have no idea what kind of braking zone that wasn't. I don't know if you caught that, Ryan, but that was interesting to say the least.
Caught the back end of that as we were switching across.
Yeah, I hate to say it as well, but the rejoin wasn't fantastic either. And certainly meant that the car following, which is Urian Reinars, had to check up a bit there. But anyway, they all carry on. No doubt there will be some damage for both Tramp and I think it was Rathnaika who received the impact at the rear.
Yeah, I mean that's one of your spots on track where if you get your braking point and you're turning just right, that's a great overtaking opportunity. But like we've just seen, if you mess the braking up, it's never going to end well for one, maybe even two multiple drivers. Indeed.
Talking of two and multiple drivers, we've got two and multiple drivers going at it through the complex. Cox holding on to second in GT4 now, with Willie Thorne directly behind, then Zalecki, then Beaton. Not too far behind at all. We have got a yellow flag out, and I think it might be for Thomas Wang. It is the TWR car just getting itself back up and going again, but looked like it had picked up a bit of damage.
Gone wide there and dropped the place to Zalecki as well. Just as we switched away.
Indeed, he has. Well spotted. So Thorne dropping back one more. He was our poleman in GT4. Dave Zalecki now up to third in class, but it's Godrecki ahead of Cox at the moment. But let's just go check in on our leader, because the gap is not huge. It's around 6 to 8 tenths. We'll see what it's like as they come across the stripe now. It's half a second, so Walter's actually staying right with Brett. Hang on. It wasn't Walters before, so Fleety has dropped a few places.
Yeah. We didn't notice that one. I wonder what happened there then.
Yeah, so Fleety down to 5th. Let's just have a look, see whether he's got any damage or whether it was just an off. Doesn't look to have any damage around the car, so might have just got away with it and can refocus and get going again. As we get the same fatal error on AC2. Did you get it as well, or just me?
Not this time, no. Yeah, still good on this end. Just watching Willie Thorne pushing on the back of Dave Zalecki into T1 now. Closing the gap on him.
So, Ryan, what you're going to have to do is effectively provide radio commentary at the moment.
Amazing. Nothing like being thrown in at the deep end, is there?
Exactly. We'll be back in with the coverage very, very quickly. So, another day and a new problem. This one has not happened before, so...
We've now got Walters 3 temps off the back of Brett. Coming onto the back straight now. Dropped a little bit out of the corner onto the straight, but sticking with him. As Thorne has got past Zalecki. Yeah, Zalecki's dropped a couple of places there. I did a D and switched away for that one.
My system is all over the place at the minute. It's telling me that Fleety is currently 40th when he's quite clearly 3rd.
He is.
So let me just try reconnecting my broadcast software.
Got a great battle going on here for 16th, 17th and 18th. Banks, Kasbergen and De Doig. What have we got covering them boys? Half a second covering 3 cars as Banks just runs it wide on the exit of T1.
Oh yes, there we are. We're live with it now. So Kasbergen right behind him as they come into the complex, but Banks looks to have held that one. Somebody's kicking up some dust in front. Notice a few laggy moments from cars out there. Let's hope there isn't any kind of issue floating around in the background, like there has been over the past few weeks. But Kasbergen looking for a way through.
On the inside, then, yeah, he's through. Oh, that was a little glitch of mine. Then the car sort of hopped back a bit.
Yeah, it's. All is not 100% well out there, is it?
While these boys are battling each other, we've now got Bolm in the Aston who's eager to get on the back of this train as well and sort of make up what he can whilst these boys are fighting.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it.
Sasha King UK in chat saying he noticed after the new DLC update when I was spectating instead of playing, I got that fatal error. So yeah, maybe it's a. Oh, there's a tap there from Kasbergen. They all get away with it, but yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it is a spectator issue rather than anything else. So let's hope it doesn't continue. But
Kasbergen stream onto the brakes. Has a little think about it.
As we see an Aston off in the background, and there is contact between Kasbergen and Banks. Banks back on track. Kasbergen is actually going to lose a place here to De Doid. De Doid through up the inside nice and neatly through Luffield. But I think that was Bolm that we saw flying off in the background, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully without these boys are battling here now, it'll not take him too long to catch up to the back of them again and try and get his foot in the door, hopefully.
Well, there we see Kasbergen trying to get back alongside De Doid and gets it done very nicely. But will now run a touch wide across the grass, and I think that's going to put Kasbergen in some trouble. It certainly does. He's across the grass now and gets a little bit slidey trying to rejoin, and Bolm is going to come through on the recovery as well. So that one didn't go so well.
Yeah, that's why it's good to always, keep pushing on. Especially if you're in a train like that, there's going to be battles rumbling on and stuff. Even if you drop back, you're still going to be able to optimise your chances of catching up whilst they're battling.
Indeed, yeah. Talking of battles, the front 3 in GT4 are beginning to merge together a little bit. So Godrecki is just being caught slightly by Kevin Cox, Willie Thorne coming with him, and actually Thorne is pretty close to Cox now. Let's jump on the rear wing of Kevin Cox and look back at that orange and blue Alpine car as they come down the straight. The Ginetta's not got a lot of poke down the straight, but I don't think the Alpine does either.
No, I can't say the Alpine's a car that I've ever tried. But from the Tuesday Night League at Alton Park the other day, watching the likes of Seville and Beeson, it's definitely got the agility about it. It can get around the corner as well.
Indeed it can, and Willie Thorne just showing that as well as he gets closer and closer to Cox in front, looking for that way past. Maybe just not quite close enough as yet, but look, the pair of them dragging themselves ever closer to Godrecki right in front, and Cox is going to want to... Oh, Cox into the back of Godrecki, which then meant Thorne into the back of Cox, and that meant that Cox came off worst as a result. Godrecki holds on to the lead, but it's now from Willie Thorne.
Yeah, that's a shame, that one. That sort of thing, that's always going to happen with how the cars are constantly tearing up on the brakes. Just a bit of an unfortunate one there.
Indeed. Oh, Zalecki trying to turn in there, and Hearn was on the apex. That was a strange incident because Hearn in the GT3, recovering from an early incident, that's just caused Dave Zalecki a bit of a problem there. And that one a bit tricky to understand. But we return to Banks and Dodoid because these two glued together once again, Ryan.
Yeah, I think this is a race that we're going to see rumbling on. A battle that we're going to see rumbling on during this race.
Dodoid to the inside then. Banks, though, trying to hold off to be on the inside into the loop, but Dodoid got the move done. That was very neatly done, but then gets sideways up on the curb. This will give Banks a bit of a run down the Wellington Straight, so named after the Wellington Bombers that used to take off on the runway that was where that straight is now. Banks has to go to the outside. Tries to switch back onto Doyd, but can't get it done. Meanwhile, just behind that, Kasbergen now past Luca Bohm in the BMW. So a position made back, and Kasbergen trying to recover that earlier issue.
Yeah, he's managed to stay with this pack nicely. Like we were saying earlier, with how they're battling and stuff. As he gets a big slide through there from T1 as Dodoy runs out massively wide as well.
So Fleety has got himself back up into second and has already caught Peter Brett as well. So Fleety is absolutely flying at this moment in time. Last lap from... their last laps were very, very equal. So we'll see what they're like this time around. Whether Brett had a bit of a moment earlier on in this lap. But these two now separated by less than 4 tenths.
Yeah, Fleety's just quietly been picking them off whilst I've been watching that GT4 battle, because I think he was 4th or 5th earlier, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And we didn't understand how he dropped to 4th or 5th. And now we don't understand how he's back up to 2nd. So,
I mean, this is a part of the race now as well. As we can see, getting into the GT4 traffic, can either help you massively or hinder you massively.
Yeah, it certainly can. And it's always tougher for the lead driver, isn't it?
Yeah, they're the ones that are having to, make the space the first ones through. But at the same time, if the GT4 cars are engaged in their own battle, like those two guys that we've just seen, you've got to let the race leaders through without compromising your own position as well.
Always tricky, especially when there's such a difference between the two cars, the GT4s and the GT3s. But Fleety right with Brett now. Let's just jump on board with Fleety and see what it looks like from his perspective as we come down the Hangar Straight. So there is a GT4 there somewhere in the mix. There it is. And Fleety looking for a move around the outside. Wow, threads the needle between the two of them. Doesn't get the move done, but I thought that was going to end in disaster.
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of thing that we were saying about, fair play to the GT4. He was trying to get out of the way and stuff. Obviously, Fleety is going to try and have a look there at one of the fastest parts of the track as well.
Indeed. Well, it didn't work out for him, but he hasn't lost a huge amount of time. We'll get to go again. We've still got 2 hours and 7 minutes of this race left. So, these guys don't need to risk anything too much at this point. Oh, we see Steve Bain on camera. The bane of my life. Indeed. Bless him in his Iron Brew livery.
It's Fleety's favour here now.
Wow, so Chittle getting involved in the lead battle here, and now we've got the two leaders side by side down the Wellington Straight. Fleety with the run, and we'll go to the inside into Brooklands, but Brett will try and hold it round the outside. Can't be done, but he may get a chance to come back through in just a moment, because next up there is another Porsche GT4. But look at this, Walters is getting closer and closer all the while as well, as these two battle. But Brett now going with Fleety. Fleety is your new leader by just under 0.2 of a second from Peter Brett. Fleety gets a swapper on in Cops though, and Brett immediately retakes that lead.
Yeah, he takes the lead again, but straight away we're going to be catching GT4 traffic in Maggots, Beckett's Chapel, and onto the back straight again, so the battle rages on.
Indeed, and they catch Coda in a difficult place, but Coda jumps out of the way. Now, I mean, Chittle not necessarily doing anything wrong there, because we do tell the slower car to hold their racing line and be predictable, but yeah, we asked them to be predictable, and I think that's exactly what Dave just did there. But at the same time, maybe it would have just been a lot easier if Chittle had just run out wide and let them through. Yeah,
I mean, all that traffic there then, Walters is, he's taken 4 attempts out of them on this last lap, so...
He has. This is now a Friday night three-way. Look at it. Oh, and they're catching some GT4s at some really bad places. And here comes Fleety again. This one's going to end very badly, though, and it does. It ends terribly for the Ginetta, who now comes back across the track and catches another GT4. In the meantime, Fleety's still trying to dive around the GT4s and find a way through. But what you've seen is Walters up into second. Brett has somehow held on to the lead there. Let's go and catch a replay if we can of all of that happening. Here it comes, Ryan. So he just had to check up behind the GT4, and then there was a little bump with Fleety. That Ginetta came off worst, and you see Walters just saying thank you very much. But that AMG came off worse out of everything.
Yeah, it's a hard one, that one as well, because once you're on the grass and stuff, your brakes aren't really doing anything either as well. In terms of joining back on the track there, I feel like the Ginetta was a bit of a passenger. Yeah,
there's not a lot the Ginetta could have done there. But here comes more GT4s in difficult parts of the track. So this is actually... oh, look at Fleety now trying to find a way through in the background of Walters. So the GT4s adding a real mix of battling here for the leaders. But here comes Walters for the lead now, moving to the outside into Stowe. You can see Fleety in the background trying to pick off anything that might kick off between these two. You see Brett just ran Walters right out onto the curb at Stowe. And that is going to end in disaster if these two don't stop bumping into each other. But look at this. Look at Earl now making a four-way.
Yeah. If this battle continues, it's not going to be long before, 5th and 6th are on the back of this train as well.
Indeed. Well, they've got a little bit of breathing space before they catch some more GT4s, but then when they do, they catch 3 of them at the same time. Meanwhile, Earl in the background just trying to find a way past Fleety. Couldn't quite get it done. There was a little touch in there, but nothing too bad. But here we go then. So let's go on the rear wing of Brett. You can see second, third and fourth in the background there as they come down the Wellington Straight. So Brett just breathing a sigh of relief that he's got a couple of corners at least with no GT4s. So you see Fleety getting that Audi completely sideways again. You just wonder whether he's starting to work those tyres a little bit too hard, Ryan.
Yeah, we saw this in the rookies race last night as well. You know, the more the Audis were pushing on, the more it looked like they were struggling with tyre wear. You know, they definitely saw a drop off in pace as the tyres were starting to go away from them.
Indeed. Well, Brett actually just getting away a little bit on this lap as the three behind just try and settle themselves down. At the moment, though, Earl looks the most racy of all of them, right on the back of Sam Fleety. They come down the hangar straight, and what do we reckon? A dive to the inside here?
From personal experience, the way the car comes across here, you know, it's the GT4 gets in the way. You know, how cars are sweeping across there, it takes a brave man to put it down the inside and to get it stopped.
Yeah, there's not much of a braking zone there, is there?
Yeah, you're taking a lot of it out by by how you cutting the length to the corner.
Well, they've all got through that GT4 fairly safely, but this, ladies and gents, with just over 2 hours of this race still left to go, is your lead battle. First, second, third and fourth all together. Currently lapping a GT4 Alpine that stays on the inside, does the right thing, and Earl almost catches it on the apex but now gets through. That's your leader, Peter Brett. He's been in the lead for most of this race, apart from about 3 corners when Fleety took the lead. Paul Archer, thanks for the follow. As we see Brett get very sideways. So are all of these guys starting to struggle now, do we think?
Yeah, I mean, this has put Walters right onto the back of him. You know, coming out at the exit of Luffield there. I mean, the main place that we're starting to see it is through the braking zone at the end of the straight. As Walters gets a great run there, thinks about a look into turn 1. Just trying to put Brett off a little bit, I think.
God, I had visions of Hamilton and Verstappen there, but thankfully not. Thankfully not. Earl has dropped back a little bit off of this pack at the moment, but it is Brett, Walters and Fleety for the lead at the moment. That all-pink Porsche staying ahead, but Walters now under some pressure from the fellow Audi of Sam Fleety as we come down towards Stowe. We have got a yellow flag out there for Daniel Krebs momentarily. Fleety up into second then with a move to the inside at Stowe. That was neatly executed.
Sorry, just very cold and just watching, Fleety on the back of Walters through the chicane there. Just managing to get it stopped in time.
So we've just come to take a look at Jerome Jongen, who's right behind Sander Jacobs. This is a battle for 9th. They're just catching a GT4 as well. But now it's safely past on the F1 start-finish line and through Abbey and now up towards Farm. Jongen looking for a way past, dives to the outside. Jacobs holds the line quite neatly, defends well, holds the line on the inside. These two, I think, are teammates. They're both in the Dutch Endurance team car. Different colours, but both carrying the DET logos on their cars. But Jacobs holding on from Jongen at this moment in time. Has there been a change out front? Not quite, but Fleety is looking at it right now. He's moving to the outside into Copse. This is a brave place to try and make a move, and he thinks better of it. Brett tucks back in and still holds the lead, but I think at some point Fleety managed to just get past for, wait for it, I've been waiting to squeeze this in, just for a fleeting second.
Oh, amazing.
Fleeting second, I should have said, but yeah.
I think by the end of the straight here as well, I think we're going to have a 5-car battle for the lead, as Zilzovic has, reeled these boys in whilst they've been fighting. So 5 for the lead at the minute.
Wow, it gets closer and closer, lap by lap. This is, to roll out one of my old catchphrases, this one is close as coconuts right now as we dive into Club Chicane. And we're going to come around the club corner now. I've got a feeling that chicane has got a different name, and I must go look it up at some point. But Brett holds on. So this is first, second, third, fourth, and fifth all together. And then I think actually Thorpe just beginning to catch the back of that pack as well to maybe make it 6 for the lead before long.
Bringing the gap down now, definitely. I reckon by the time we get to the start of the next lap, he's going to be there or thereabouts with them.
Indeed. Well, this is Alen Zildzovic in the McLaren. Just looking to get stuck into Walters and Earl ahead. But I think Fleety is closer once again to Brett out front. So that SOP Motorsport car of Peter Brett continues to lead, but Sam Fleety just tantalisingly close to the back of that Porsche pretty much all the way through the race. Jimbo Mancy's in chat. He says, hello, I'm new and have a question. I would like to hear your question, Jimbo Mancy 46, and welcome, by the way.
We've got Foldesi catching up to the back of Foster here as well. Looking like he's going to be lining a move up.
Let's go jump to that one then. Oh yeah, very, very close. So here comes Foster then in the orangey red McLaren with Foldesi directly behind in the green and white BMW. I think that's one of the DTM liveries that we get in ACC. Jimbo wants to know what lap times are they running at the front. They're running 2 minutes flat at the moment. So earlier on they were running 58.7s. So the front three, their fastest laps are 58.7, 58.7 and 58.7. So pretty close between those front three. But at the moment they're running 2 minutes flat, which does just suggest that the tyres are beginning to drift away, Ryan.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that's part of the reason we've had car number 326 had a moment at Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, and has now disappeared from the server as well.
It's always a shame to see that. Brett going defensive against Fleety. Fleety goes to the outside, though, into Brooklands. Now we switch back into Luffield. And look how close Walters is getting. We're going to have to go helicam on this one just to try and get all of the action in here, or as Jimbo would like to say, helmet cam. And Brett from Fleety, from Walters, from Earl and Zildzovic. Thorpe not a huge distance behind this pack as well. 1.7 off the back of Zildzovic. But this battle rumbles on and on and on.
Yeah, all the time Martin Thorpe getting closer as well.
Indeed he is. This is your lead battle. Jimbo says it's interesting there's no M4 at the front. Yeah. Oh, as we see Walters in the background just dropping it through the complex. Meanwhile, we see Fleety now momentarily moving into the lead, getting it done round the outside at Stowe. Gets it stopped perfectly, and Brett had to check up and get out of that one. That, Ryan, is a change for the lead and a great move to go with it.
Yeah, it's been a couple of laps coming, that one, and I don't think it's going to be the last time we see a change for the lead.
Well, no, because every time Fleety's got into the lead, he's then got slidey somewhere and dropped it straight back to Brett, and they catch the GT4 of Wang through Abbey there, but actually didn't lose a huge amount of time. But
Wow, as Walters had a proper look up the inside of Zilzovic then.
Yeah, so Walters dropped a couple of places early on in this lap to Earl and Zilzovic. Martin Thorpe now keeping a watching brief of these two in front, but look now at Walters trying to recover one of the positions that he lost earlier on in the lap. Gets up the inside, and look how close Earl is at the front now all of a sudden. So we've got 3 for the lead. We've got 3 for 4th. It's difficult to know where to watch, but we'll keep an eye on the lead battle at this moment in time. It's Fleety, Brett and Earl all for the lead, separated by 6-7 tenths of a second in total. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, just following up on Martin Thorpe again. Whilst these boys have been battling on, tripping over each other and stuff, he's now only 3 tenths off the back of Walters, so ground to be made for Martin Thorpe.
He is indeed, yeah, and let's just... Oh, there's a nice shot. We can actually see all 6 of them. That is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th going under the bridge. All together, we are over half an hour into this race already, and it is still as close as this. I wouldn't be surprised if these 6 are all together on the final lap in another hour and 51 minutes time. It's been that kind of race, and we haven't even got to the pit stops yet. Each car has still got 3 pit stops to serve. What amazing racing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what straps these guys are on. You know, we've seen a couple of taps between them. Are they going to use to repair damage and stuff?
Wow, Brett just drifted Abbey. For those who didn't see it, I'm going to see if we can pick up a replay of that one. We can. We've gone quite a way back, so you'll have to bear with it. But this is well worth a watch because he got very, very drifty through Abbey. Here it comes. If you didn't see it first time around, this is an epic piece of car control. He didn't even lose a place. Look at that. Wow. Well saved, that man.
You want to hand out the window and everything there.
Well, let's hope nothing has changed in the meantime. No, still there. Oh, Brett now takes to the pits. So I think that drift may have just cooked the tyres.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out in relation. If he gets himself into a bit of, free air, can bang a couple of lap times in and capitalise on it when the others come into the pits. Indeed.
So we have seen some other cars through the pits already. We've seen Austin and Jacobs and Kasbergen and Rathniker and Reinars and Van der Veen through the pits. Oh, hang on a minute. That's Earl. Earl has just dropped it, or I think saved it as well by the looks of it, but has lost a position to Zilzovic here. So Fleety getting away at the front, and here comes Walters. Walters to the outside will now actually have to be careful not to let Earl straight back through. Earl does get straight back through, but Walters will hold on to that line into the chicane. And Earl very late on the brakes. Great job from Earl. That was a superb piece of defensive driving, Ryan.
Yeah, proper defensive driving there. He left Walters plenty of space as well. Whilst not really losing time to Zilzovic either.
Indeed. Well, it'll be interesting to see how things start to shake out after the pit stops. Meanwhile, Foldesi and Foster still going at it, but they're a little bit further apart than they were earlier on. Let's see where Peter Brett is now. So he is back out on track, safely ahead of Sander Jacobs and Jeroen Jongen, who have stopped as well. Just checking in on GT4s. So Willie Thorne is out in the lead from Godrecki by quite some distance now, actually. About 15.5 seconds. Mate, that's 16 seconds. Then you got Cox in third, just going to the pits now. And then... Sorry, go ahead.
Race leader into the pits.
So yes. Fleety in, and Zilzovic in, and Thorpe in as well. So 3 of them taking their opportunity. The Earl of Ipswich, meanwhile, leads the race. Indeed, Vern Wazzer, you are in the lead. Well done. I mean, we haven't seen you drive yet, but well done. Good job. Nice to see the SGP boys out at front of the pack right now. So Walter's going with them, but these two probably don't want to be battling too hard right now, do they? Because they're trying not to get undercut too much by those that have pitted earlier.
Yeah, the last thing you want to be doing now is fighting each other too hard, losing time, and then paying for it after the pit stops.
There you are, Steve. That's the advice you need to give to Mr. Earl. Don't lose too much time. Meanwhile, Sammy Dodar, Mr. Sam Roughton in chat saying good evening. Good evening to you too as well, Sam.
So I know these guys are on different straps at the minute, but Brett has come out behind Leighton Austin, who has already made his first pit stop. So Austin's probably not going to give that place up easily.
He has, you're right. And not just right behind him, but actually quite some distance behind as well. So I'm just trying to have a look at Brett's pit stop time versus Austin. There was a 2 seconds difference between the two. Actually, there was a difference of about 8 seconds in their pit stops from pit entry to pit exit between Austin and Brett. So that's where some of the time's gone. Oh, Walters is in. So is Earl as well. And I think we see Adam Foster just coming into the pits as well. Nice first name, by the way. Love it. Love your work. Meanwhile, we see Giroud and Kasbergen fighting hard, going either side of the lapped car. Sort of Schumacher, Hakkinen and Ricardo Zonta-esque there. You old enough to remember that one, Ryan?
No.
Just at some point, go on Google and type in Schumacher, Hakkinen, Zonta, Spa. Just incredible. What an overtake by Mika Hakkinen. Schumacher went one way past Ricardo Zonta, Hakkinen went the other side and got ahead. Just absolutely amazing stuff. Hang on, Ryan. Stand by. Are you ready for this?
Go on.
Princess JT has arrived.
It's been announced today.
Yes, I
did.
did
We missed it last time.
I did it properly this time. Lamatek says, go Earl. You missed an E off the end of it. Oh no, Giroud's just hit the back of Kasbergen. I was too busy looking at that. Let's see what happened as they went into Luffield. Oh, it was a lag moment. It certainly looked like it on my screen, so that's unfortunate. It looks like Giroud has then let Kasbergen go. Not really Giroud's fault, you have to say. Now it gets confusing, Ryan.
Yeah, so just keeping an eye on Austin, as he was one of the first GT3 cars to pit, and he's come out. Well, he's managed to place himself at the Zildzovic battle. So that'll be interesting to see how this plays out, considering that they've all got 2 pit stops left.
Indeed. Now, the reason I said things get confusing now is because, number one, we've got a mixture of strategies out there, but also we've got driver changes as well. So I was just going, oh God, where's Fleety gone? And then I thought, oh, he's not driving anymore, so that's Nuttall.
Fleety's now Nuttall.
Yeah, Jesus. These driver change events always play with my very, very tiny brain. My very, very tiny brain struggles with general life anyway, so Throw something confusing in there and we're all kinds of trouble. What are you oofing at? What's going on?
So Walters has actually played the GT4 traffic to his advantage here. As Earl's had a huge moment, Magnus Beckett's in Chapel and has let Zildovic through now. Austin right on the back of them as well.
He certainly is. Look at Earl on Zildzovic, so and you're right, there is Austin, but also Foldesi as well. So it's kind of difficult to see exactly what's going on here, but you see Earl looking to the inside of Zildzovic. You see Austin running wide. Foldesi gets to the inside of that all BMW battle, and I'm going to try and jump back to that one because that one's very, very interesting right now. But Foldesi gets the move done. They're lapping some GT4 traffic as well. Meanwhile, that looks to me... Diesel TTV is raiding with a party of 10. Thank you very much, Diesel TTV. Loving your work. I was just going to check. I think, yeah, Tomlinson and Zalecki battling for position here. Both served a pit stop already. This is in the GT4 action. As you see, Peter Brett coming through and putting a lap on these guys. Zalecki to the outside now of Tomlinson. But Tomlinson holds that position quite nicely. What's going on in the GT3 stuff, Ryan?
Walters and Baum into Luffield here, just playing with the GT4 traffic a little bit. Baum has lost the position.
Yes, yeah.
Position swap 3rd and 4th.
He has indeed, and Baum now trying to find a way through that GT4 traffic. He's now got Banks not too far behind him. There is John Banks in the Vorgen Motorsport car. Let's just check in with Earl again. He's right behind Zildzovic. Question for Vern Wazzer from me. Is Earl single crewing tonight? Are you not racing tonight, or are you doing a double stint at the end? Because all we've seen is Jonathan Earl so far. Doing a great job out there. So this is Jeroen Jongen, who, whenever we've seen him, he's been close to another car, but not quite close enough. As we see Tomlinson and Zalecki in the background still battling hard. Jongen still looking for a way past that teammate, Sander Jacobs. Getting close, but not quite close enough.
Oh, looking for a little switcheroo there as well.
Yeah, you can't beat a switcheroo.
For the chicane, though.
No, always going to be difficult there. Let's just go look at... so I think, yeah, Foldesi has got... Okay, so it's... oh no, now I'm confused. Is Skip teammates with Thorpe? Yes.
Yes. And then we've got Baum in a very similar liveried car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's so confusing for my little brain. But Skip now under some pressure from Tonks. I can't work out who Tonks has replaced. But Tonks, he's going to tonk one round the outside of Skip if he can. But no, Skip just defending that one quite nicely. Foldesi just ahead of them though. So these three battling hard. Foldesi, Skip, Tonks across the line. Cox in between them being lapped. You can see Jongen and Jacob still going at it in the background. We've got a yellow flag out there somewhere. I think it's for Leah van Stevelen. It is. She's had a bit of a moment out of Luffield. Let's go back to that Skip and Tonks.
Yeah, Tonks throwing it across the curbs there, then.
Best way.
Yeah, looking for a way past. To no avail at the minute. The extra grunt of the Aston helping at the minute, I think.
Jongen right with Jacobs now, pushing on. Jongen looking for a way past, as he has been for, I don't know, probably the last half an hour or so. Jongen will be fed up of his teammates' arse, to put no finer point on it. What's the ooh for? What's going on?
Tonks and Skip. Nice move into the chicane there. Managed to do it on the brakes.
Let's pick up a replay. So here's what happened. We're watching Tonks and Skip then. And there is going to be an overtake as we come down through the Vale and into the chicane. Yeah, lined it up beautifully. Bang on the brakes. Not fought too hard from Skip.
Yeah, that was good driving from Skip there. I'll be watching his mirrors, his radar indicator as well if he's got it on, just knowing when to not turn in. Good awareness.
Indeed. Meanwhile, Jacobs and Jongen, guess what? They're still stuck together. If you were Jongen here, at what point do you start getting a little bit more pushy with your overtakes?
If I was Jongen and not me, do you mean, or?
No, if you were you. If you were you.
If I was me, I'd be taking, sticking as close as possible here, taking a look at the end of the straights and just starting to try and force a mistake through the Vale section, really.
That's interesting you say that. Jongen is making that big yellow AMG as big and yellow as he can in Jacobs' mirrors. As we see, is that Skip and Tonks side by side? It is, but we've also got Jongen and Jacobs now side by side as we come down towards Stowe. Jongen just getting a bit squirrely on the brakes. Can't quite get it stopped in time. I thought he got it done, but Jacobs just holds on to that position right now. So some good driving from the pair of them. Meanwhile, we see just ahead of them Tonks and Skip still going at it, and this is now going to become a four-way battle here for position. So Tonks has got the position. Skip, meanwhile, is going to lose out to Jacobs and Jongen. So Skip now runs out wide. So that's an unfortunate few corners for Mr. Skip.
Yeah, it's so easy to do in the Aston as well there. With the front end understeer, just so easy to do in a fast corner like that.
Yeah, Jacobs holding that position quite nicely from Jongen. Now finds himself up into the top 10. You see Jongen sending it on Willie Thorne there in the background. Meanwhile, we see Tonks just running a bit deep into Brooklands. And he's going to have to fight hard to keep these guys behind. 1 hour, 34 minutes to go in this race. If you are just joining us here at oNiD Racing, this is the Jimmy Broadbent powered by oNiD 2.4 hour series, round 2, live from Silverstone here on Assetto Corsa Competizione. We've got 40 plus cars, I can't remember exactly how many, battling it out across 2 different classes, GT3 and GT4. Teams of 1 or 2 drivers. Each team must take 3 stops for tyres tonight, and obviously they can be your driver swap times as well if you are running more than 1 driver.
If you were Ball, madam, when would you be looking to pit now? The cars around him have already all done their first stop. With an hour and a half for the race left to go, when would you be looking to take your first stop?
Well, I don't know whether they're a single or a 2-car team. Let's just take it on the principle that it was a single car team. I would be in now, and then go. Guys, yeah. So you go now. That would leave you with an hour and a half. So you then stop on an hour to go and half an hour to go. So you could do 3 really nice 30-minute stints to round things off. It seems like a nice way to split it from here. Meanwhile, we have got a drive-through now for Giroud. So I can only assume, because that wasn't a pit stop, so it must have been for track limits, that one.
Yeah, it's turn 1 notorious here for track limit things, so easily done.
Indeed. Talking of track limits and those kind of issues, let's just go check in on Steve Bain, see how he's getting on. I can't see him. Oh, there he is. He's up in 30th. That's why I couldn't see him.
Oh, as we've got Jacobs down the inside of Tonks and then running massively wide into turn 1. Is he going to give it up? No, side by side. Wow. Oh, that's compromised. Jacobs.
Oh, dear. I mean, that was some expert commentary from me. I just basically shouted noises at the screen. But Jacobs and Jongen have got through past Tonks as a result of that. Jongen's still looking for a way past Jacobs. It's just never ending, this battle. However many positions they make up, they seem to make them up as a pair. So Jongen now looking to the outside at the chicane. That's a bold one. It's not going to work. It was bold, but it's not going to work.
Blows himself up a little bit there, catching the grass on the runoff as well.
Indeed, I think we've now got, this is Jacobs, Jongen, Tonks, Skip, and we've got Krebs on the back of this one as well. So we've got 5 cars pretty much line astern here. As we see in the background, well, in fact, let's not go to the background right now because these two are battling hard. No, yes, let's definitely go to the background because there's a big battle there as well. We see Krebs getting past Skip. Skip had just had a go at Tonks, but now Krebs is going to have a look at Tonks himself. Ascend up the inside there.
No contact. Nicely done. Oh, little bit of a touch here.
And that Krebs car twitching around like he's driving on a controller.
Yeah. Skips just wants to stay on the back of this here. Just let these boys trip over themselves a little bit.
Oh, like that. There was contact halfway down the straight. This is very strange. And now there's further contact as well from Skip into the back of Tonks. There's some strange stuff going on there.
Yeah, from Skip's on board there, the back end of Tonks got very twitchy. Like it all sort of lagged out for a second, but then the back end started to slide a bit as well.
So back to this Jacobs and Jongen battle because they're still going at it. Another lap of staring at Jacobs' backside. Jongen must have a fascination with the rear end of McLarens. Say again, Ryan?
Tonks very wide then. As as Skips hits the curb, and not sure who that is in a DM there. Absolutely sent it.
I think that must be Ebert.
Might be a lap car.
It could be.
Yeah, it is. Blue flags are out for him, but pace that he's got there, he's caught up to the back of these guys and trying to work his way through.
I think that's Rathniker. Yes, it is. It's Rathniker in the 21 for Sim Racing Lanka. Meanwhile, let's just go see what's happening in GT4. So that's Frank Godrecki, who led early on. Our actual race leader now is Willie Thorne from Kevin Cox in second. Dave Zalecki is third. So he has got past Tomlinson. Tomlinson stayed with him though. Then you've got Godrecki and Bain, who has got Rodriguez for close company there as well. So we'll keep checking in on these guys and seeing how they get on. Our very own Wilbert Van Oostenen teamed up with Janus Schouten in this one, driving the oNiD liveried Bentley. That Bentley got a positive bop yesterday, we believe. Now right on the back of Giraud, who's just had his drive-through penalty. But Van Oostenen and Schouten are normally pretty quick, so it just goes to show the quality of the field. As we see Godrecki getting involved with some of the GT3s there. But the position of Van Oostenen and Schouten as a team just goes to show the quality of the field in this 2.4 hour series.
Yeah, that's a strong car that as well. we know that WVO's quick, does coaching with the rookie league and stuff, and Charlton as well. I think he's a pro in the leagues I compete in, so by no means a slow car, that one.
No, well, WVO makes up a position past Giro now. Giro had to check up a little bit behind Bohm. Bohm now trying to find his way past Dave Zalecki and Tomlinson. So I think, yeah, Tomlinson has got back ahead of Zalecki. Zalecki will now try to find a way back through as these guys come through the pack. So much action all over the place. It's difficult to keep up with it all. But let's...
Did we pick up on Krebs making a place on Jongen?
Indeed, yeah. So Jongen no longer staring at the back of Jacobs. Well spotted, that man. So obviously something has happened to Jacobs, but that Krebs car still doing the weird twitching around.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's laggy or whether he's actually on a controller. Let's go on board and see if we can tell.
Sorry, Jongen very close to the back of Krebs there as he get held up by the GT4 in T1.
Yeah, Jongen now looking... Oh, wow! Had to jump on the brakes there.
Proper checked up there.
Wow. Oh, Jacobs round! Jacobs has had an issue. Oh, no! Oh.
Some of that.
Oh, bad time for the GT4. But basically, Jacobs had just gone, I can't do this without Jongen in my mirrors. Oh, bless him. So, yeah, we were just trying to work out whether Krebs is on a controller or whether it is laggy. I think it's laggy because that's still quite smooth steering inputs.
Yeah, hopping on his own board, it's like you'd expect. It's not like when you look at, like, for example, Matt Wilmot's on board, and you can see the actual shift in steering.
Matt does an incredible job driving on a controller. But look at these three all together. So it's Jacobs and Jongen and Tonks all back together once again. Jongen goes deep to try and go round the outside of Jacobs there. Also having to watch out for Tonks in the background. You can also see that Skip is coming back to join this party, and that is the Rathnica car that is trying to unlap itself as well. So, whew.
Krebs is 4 seconds down the road from Jacobs here now as well, and if these boys, as Tonks sends it deep there as well.
Giggity. Indeed he does. And Skip now right with him through Luffield. Rathnica moves past another car, unlapping himself in the process. But here comes Skip. Skip to the inside. Tonks. Yeah, not a lot that Tonks can do about that apart from try and switch back on the exit. Is the old switcheroo there or not? No, I don't think you... Oh, no! Oh.
Well, I was going to say it'd be interesting to see if the bop on the Aston shows its grunt, but maybe next time.
I've got a horrible feeling that that is one of those situations where one car was moving slightly right and one car was moving slightly left. Yeah. Yeah, that ended very, very badly for Skip. So for anyone who's watching us for the first time, we don't have live stewarding. The way we do it is a formal reporting system. So basically drivers can submit incident reports 24 hours within 24 hours after the race finishing. They have to include video clips and an explanation. They then go to a quite large panel of stewards made up of racers and non-racers and things from across the community, and then they will come to a consensus decision. So each one of those members of the panel will input their decision on an incident independently, and then our race director will go through and gain a consensus view from looking at all of the different opinions of the different stewards, and then from that it progresses on to any penalties. But there's a pretty set format for these penalties and how it works, and it tends to work pretty well. I hope people would agree.
Car 192, Godrecki, bit of a moment coming out of T1 then. He was right on the back of David Alecki there as well, just dropped back a little bit.
Oh, that's a shame. Heike van der Veen, meanwhile, Heike's running another new livery. Look at that one.
How good does that look as well?
That's a peach, Heike. Good job with a Racing Stronger kind of martini-themed effort there. Good stuff. Ryan, as one of our Racing Stronger admins, do you want to just explain to the good folk of the stream exactly what Racing Stronger is all about?
Yeah, so Racing Stronger is a new, I'd say, initiative for the community of sim racing, where we all come together, general discussions and stuff. Basically, just a place where you can open up. You know, say like what sort of situations you experience in life. You know, especially I feel like the last couple of years have been tough on everyone. People have found them in places where they wouldn't have been in the past. You know, loneliness, being stuck in situations you might not like and stuff, and like how it impacts people's mental health and stuff. You know, the stuff that I did with the Mission Motorsport guys, some of the stories that you hear, you know, and how people can relate for a community through, example, like the rehabilitation programs that they've done, and just being able to relate to people who are in situations maybe not the same as yours or similar and stuff, and just being able to maybe vent, get stuff off your chest. I think one of the positive things about it as well is it's the internet as well, you know, so you can there's no judgment and stuff, you know, you're not having to have that face-to-face conversation with someone that a lot of people struggle with, because they're not good with words, or you know, they just can't do the whole sit down and talk to somebody about it. So it's a good space to be able to open up about stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, Racing Stronger was set up as a support network, really, and it kind of acts in two ways. So for sim racers themselves that maybe have issues with mental health, that want a safe place to talk and vent, like you said, then it's great for them. But also, Racing Stronger is also set up to show off the benefits of sim racing for mental health for those who haven't tried it before. So at some point in the future we will be doing some fundraising events and things like that, but they will come later on in the year. But in the meantime, if you want to see a little bit more of what Racing Stronger is about, then head to racingstronger.com. The website is still under construction somewhat, but you can get a general gist there. And most importantly, come and join the Discord and come and have a chat with all of us there. Stephen Lowbridge asked for some coverage of car number 2, Leah Van Stevelen, and that's exactly what you've got. Doing pretty solid job there. 33rd overall. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in class right now. Hasn't taken any of their pit stops yet. But that Go for the Gap Racing liveried Janetta looking pretty fine on track. Unfortunately though, T Wang not having such a good time. An SG30 for T Wang, and I'm really resisting the urge to just shorten that to Twang.
Skip moves in another place to Ibbot there on the brakes into Luffield. Wonder if he's suffering with some damage from the bit of door banging with the Macca, maybe.
Yeah, could well be. Meanwhile, guess which two cars are still locked nose to tail?
Oh, it's got to be the Jong and Jacobs battle, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. They are still absolutely joined at the hip.
Yeah, this is great from these boys. This is reminiscent of the battle that me and Steve Worrell had. Tit for tat around the lappers. Oh, that's very close with Zalecky. Leave space. Yeah, good awareness from Dave there, and the GT3 boys to get through cleanly.
Indeed, yeah. If there's anyone who knows what they're doing in a GT4, letting GT3s through, it is Dave Zalecky. So, yeah, just noticed that the temperature has dropped a little bit, so we're down to 22 degrees air temp, which is 26 degrees track. Do you think that'll be making much difference to these guys?
I mean, it's not been a massive drop in stuff, providing that they've set tyre pressures and stuff right for their stops, and I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. I mean, we're going to be getting towards the second pit window now, so anyone who's had a bit of a drop off in pace will hopefully find that after the pit stop.
Indeedy. I think the closest battle on track, by the way, is still that Jacobs and Jongen battle. Jongen getting very, very close to his teammate's backside there. In fact, let's have a look from that rear wing. Interestingly, I don't know if you've just spotted it, but Jongen on the front of his car, in reverse lettering, so like when you see an ambulance, there's ambulance written the wrong way round, so you can read it in the wing mirror. He's got written the wrong way round on his bonnet. Move over! ! Well, it's not working, Jongen, I'm afraid. I like it though. I do like it. Matt Holman's in chat. Excellent stream, guys. Brilliant racing too. Thank you, Matt. Welcome along. Great to have you checking in on the stream.
This will be interesting here now as well, Adam. We've got Austin, one of the first guys in the GT3 to take his second pit stop. One of the first guys who's higher up the field anyway. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to the guys around him pitting.
And he was one of the first to take his first stop as well, wasn't he? So, and it worked. So it'd be interesting to see how that shakes out later on.
Yeah, he's definitely got the pace anyway.
Are you just trying to make up for the fact that you said he was going to be on pole and he was like 10th?
No.
Well, this is what it looks like from Jacobs' rear wing, to see a yellow Mercedes following you super close, lap after lap after lap. I thought he just moved over to the right a little bit because there was a GT4 Alpine. That's a very colourful GT4 Alpine as well. But Jacobs and Jongen continue going at it, hammer and tong. I keep checking.
We've got Jacobs into the pits, so will Jongen have a bit more pace now? He's got some free air in front of him. Let's try and do the open, maybe.
Well, let's see. So Jongen's lap time this time was a 2 minutes .542. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out. See what he's.
How close combat they've been in as well.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye to see what his lap time is in about 2 minutes' time, I guess. Here comes.
Yeah, I hope catch too much more of this GT4 traffic whilst he's trying to make a gap as well. Because again, Jacobs has got to make his way through it, so it should be interesting to see.
So we're currently looking at Luca Bohm, who's directly behind Wilbert van Oosenen in the oNiD Bentley. Very attractively liveried car. The oNiD one, designed by our very own Ben22 Racing, who, if you want any liveries doing for multitude of different sims, primarily ACC, then check out ben22racing.com. And yeah, the man can design you a tasty livery. That's one thing he's very good at. You've had a couple done by Ben, haven't you?
I have. I literally sent him a picture of the Yuasa BTCC Honda and said, I want this on an Aston Martin.
Oh,
3 days later, I had it.
What a job he did on that one. It was a cracker, an absolute cracker.
Looks mega.
Yeah.
You know, he's really meticulous in what he does. You know, he'll send you the initial design across, any little tweaks and stuff you want making. And for the amount of, you know, he obviously asks for a small charge, but for the amount of time and effort he puts in, it's outstanding anyway.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. He's done a lot of the oNiD stuff, and he's done the Racing Stronger liveries as well. So, yeah, Ben is absolutely superb at all of that stuff. I'm probably feeling very refreshed as well. He's just had a holiday, I think.
That'll explain why he wasn't at the GT4 race the other day.
Indeed it will. We're back with Jamie Nuttall, who, I mean, in the first part of the race, we had at 1.6 for the lead. Since the first pit stops, it has really stretched out a bit at the front. So it's Nuttall from Walters, then Zildzovic and Earl, and Krebs and Brett. Brett was our early leader, but Brett is in the pits for the second time. Just taking that second stop right there. But Jamie Nuttall has pulled out a fairly substantial 13-second lead on Walters. Oh no! Dave Zalecki's dead. I mean, not literally, but in game dead. What's happened to Dave?
We've got Jongen exiting the pits as well. So where does he come out in relation to Jacobs then? He's got full Desi.
Oh, he's ahead of him!
Yeah, he's done it. Wow.
Wow, good job. The overcut worked. You watch him now go and make a tiny little mistake. Jacobs get in front and then him sit behind it. Oh no, Skip picks up an SG30. Oh, it's a wounder. There's nothing worse than picking up an SG30, is there?
It's soul sinking, you know, especially with how long the pit lane is there at Silverstone. But from watching some of the streams of the new content, how much do you not want to get a drive through at Indianapolis?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but yes, that is a long pit lane from what I remember.
Yeah, it looked like the world, like, I'd say longer than Spa by the looks of it.
No way. I mean, the pit lane at Spa is like driving to the moon and back. Oh my God, as we watch Foldesi sending it up the inside of a lapped GT3, and they're now catching some GT4s in the action as well. So Foldesi, then Jongen, then Jacobs, all trying to come through. I don't know whose black BMW that is. It might be the Reinar's car, possibly, but yeah, it's put Jacobs right on to the back of Jongen. And you also see Banks just ahead of Foldesi as well. Not a huge gap there. So this one is beginning to concertina together, if I can get my words out.
Yeah, it's a close battle. We have still got Banks to... well, what's he done? He's done one of his pit stops, so that'll free the Foldesi, Young and Jacobs battle up as well.
Indeed. Well, Jongen has just got away from Jacobs. In fact, Jacobs is going across the grass. That's why. So let's just see if we can see what. Let's see if we can see what happened. Oh no, we just cut to him cutting across the grass. We knew that bit.
I have just noticed as well, Adam. On the back of Jacobs' car, following on from what Jongen's got in his front bumper, Jacobs has actually got a sticker on the back saying "too close." So very
good. Meanwhile, Banks has just lost a position to Foldesi, and now Jongen coming through at Club as well. So Banks loses that one for Vaughan Motorsports. Meanwhile, Earl and Walters are in the pits. Walters heading back out. Jamie Nuttall continues to lead from Alan Zildzovic, and it's an SG30 for car 5. That is Martin Thorpe.
a DT for Petty Jelinek as well.
Oh, painful times for all of these guys. Actually, the Thorpe one we knew about. It's just that it was his teammate who picked it up, Skip, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, these...
So, in an endurance race, do you still have to serve your drive-through within the 3 lap? Or with it being a longer race, do you get longer to serve it, do you know?
No, it's exactly the same rules. 3 laps, yeah. Have you done much endurance racing yourself?
I've done the 10 hours of Suzuka. I did that with Mr. Prescott. Who else did I do it with? Mr. Prescott. Oh man, what was his name? An American guy, Jack Morrell.
Oh yeah.
And Oshava, Tim Brown.
Yes, yeah.
So we did that one as part of these. And then coming up in October, the oNiD Rookies team have got the 24 Hours of Kiel Army, which should be good fun.
What? Rather you than me. Oh dear. Foldesi running out wide there, and where does Jongen come out versus that one? There is the answer, side by side, and a little bit of contact into the chicane. They'll now go into club side by side as well. Jongen takes the inside line, but Foldesi not giving that one up. Neither of them hits the sausage on the inside. Foldesi runs out wide though and holds on to that position and gets a flash for the basically
for that. Yeah, I think there was nothing untowards there. That was just fair, narrow bit of track racing and stuff, holding your line. So
indeed it was. Oh no, Zilzovic has got an SG30. Oh, that's a huge moment in the makeup of this race. Alan Zilzovic with an SG30. That really ends his chances of winning this race, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's effectively another pit stop, isn't it? So, just looking at Krebs here, as the battle was raging on further down, he sort of gapped everyone. He's got the pits in a good position here.
Yes, he's actually 6th. So just yeah, there we go. It's updated on the timing tower now, but yeah, that's not a bad place to be. And he's actually ahead of that Earl and Worrell Porsche as well. And Steve Worrell is in the car, so maybe he's double stinting to the end now. So I seem to remember in round 1 he was rapid in the second half of the race. Was it Suzuka, I think? So let's see how Steve gets on in that car now he's in there.
Yeah, he's a quick driver when he gets into the flow of it, Steve is.
He certainly is. I just want to have a look a little bit further back. So we've got Tuck Gibson has just made up a position on Bolm, but that's because Bolm was just taken to the pits. But I was just going to check in on Shoutin. He's got Shoutin and Rathniker and Giraud all together now. So Shoutin back into the car. So Van Oosenen jumps out, replaced by Janus Shoutin. All of these guys got one pit stop left to go. And they're all battling pretty hard. Mecking picks up a drive-through. I think that one will be for track limits, because I think they were in the pits a little while ago, if memory serves correctly. But these three fighting pretty hard.
Yeah, Giraud looking very racy.
Yeah, looking for a way past that Sri Lankan team.
There we go. There's a look down the inside. Can he get it stopped? He does. Makes a move. That was beautiful.
That was very nicely done. And Rathniker doesn't fight it too hard. Fought it to a point, but you know, knew it wasn't worth any contact in there. Yeah, Giraud now makes up that position up into 17th. Meanwhile, Fleety is back in the car. We've got just over an hour to go in this race. So we'll be finishing this race just after 10:30 UK time, that is. For a lot of these drivers, that will be really late in the day. A lot of these drivers obviously based in Europe, so that'll be 11:30 their time. I suppose it is a Friday night though.
How much do you feel for Jeong in this race being on the back bumper of someone for, what we're talking, an hour and 18 minutes now?
Yeah, I mean, he got past Jacobs, but he's now straight onto the back of Foldesi. It seems to be stuck there as well. The man can't get a clear track, can he?
Oh. There's Rao starting to make ground on Krebs now as well. Down from 3 seconds to just shy of 2 now.
Indeed, and look how close this Jongen and Foldesi battle is as they come down the back straight. We've got a yellow flag, and I think it was for Walters, you know. Let's have a little check of the replay, but I'm pretty sure the yellow flag came out for Walters. So let's see what happens. This is round into... Is this Abbey or Cops? I think that's Abbey. No, it was Cops. And, yeah, trying to lap Rathniker. Oh, no. It was, Bell and Shouting lost it in front. And then Rathniker went off as well. There's another car kicking up dust as well. Rathniker rejoins the action. So, actually, Walters didn't bring out the yellow flag, but every single car around him did. So let's go back to that Rathniker battle. There is Rathniker. Bolm just up the inside there. Oh, that's some unfortunate contact that we just saw from Thorpe. So Thorpe trying to recover from that SG30. Kevin Cox, who's third in GT4, has picked up a drive-through as well. So maybe it's the time in the race where we're going to start to see some drive-throughs coming in.
Yeah, I mean, that'll, I think, in theory, put Mr. Bain up to third in class, providing he doesn't give himself a drive-through, as Cox takes the drive-through now.
Well, hold that thought. May put Bain second, because Tomlinson's in the pits from the lead to take his second stop. So if Bain clears him, we may see the Scotsman up into second.
Still with a pit stop to go, so we wait with bated breath.
Yeah. There's still time for all kinds of drive-through SG30 kind of action. So just jumping back into the chat, by the way, Urian Reinars a little while ago said, just did my stint, no errors for me. It's now up to Rob Zemanska to bring it home. Action Production 14, thanks for the first time chat. Is lurking away. Feel free to do so. Make sure you hit that follow button if you haven't already done so. Bain has managed to type whilst driving 3 warnings. So yeah, good luck. Now he's out of the car. Says, wow, what a double stint that was. One of the most fun races ever, especially before that first pit stop. Wow, indeed. We can echo those wows. You gave us some great racing to watch. Thank you very much for that. And you've now handed over to your teammate, Mr. Worrell, who is actually losing time to Krebs now.
Yeah, he's also got the Foldesi-Jongen battle hatching rapidly here as well. So he's lost, what's he lost? 1.2 seconds to Krebs. Yeah, Foldesi and Jongen right on him now as Jongen sort of gets held up by GT4 on the exit there, but he'll be back in this This battle in no time.
Yeah, meanwhile, we've got a battle for third here as Austin gets held up by the GT4 at just the wrong moment there. And Brett takes the position. Actually, I think Brett did brilliantly well. He kind of boxed Austin in behind the GT4. It was beautifully done. If you didn't see it, here comes the replay. Because I think that was really nicely done by Brett. Lovely switch up the inside. Into farm. Then we get to the loop and he thinks, hang on a minute. Can I just pincer Austin in behind this GT4? Yeah, boy, I can. Zips round the outside and off he goes. Beautifully done.
So going back to Austin still, do we think he's played a blinder on the strategy here? I mean, with one pit stop to go.
He's got himself up to fourth. Yeah. So doing really well, and talking of BTCC liveries, that's a stunner as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? As Worrell lost the back end into T1, Foldesi through, Jongen through, Jongen and Zalecki contacting Maggots and Beckett's.
Good to see Dave Zalecki's back out on track and running again though. But yeah, so Worrell drops behind Jongen then down to 8th place. And Jongen isn't attached to the rear bumper of another car for the first time, I think, all race.
Yeah, I think just where he caught Dave Zalecki, just lost him a little bit of time there. But yeah, the battle between these three, this is going to rage on until the end, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Meanwhile, we've got Foster and Zildzovic going at it as well. So remember, Zildzovic had the was it drive-through on SG30? I can't remember which one. But either way, yeah, I think so. And finds himself a lot further down the order. And we'll be looking for
Gibson as well. Just clearing some GT4 through Maggots and Beckett, saying we're quite close.
Now you notice that Rathnaika has actually taken their final stop. So Rathnaika back out in 21st, and you'll notice that that box has gone green, which tells you they have taken all of their mandatory pit stops. So Rathnaika going for the long final stint effort.
Foster defending like crazy from Zildovic here.
He really is up the inside into Luffield, defending that one away. Zildzovic will look for a way past as they head up towards Copse in just a moment, once they've got through Woodcote and across the strike. Here they go. Zildzovic then gets forced to the outside. That's not going to be a place to make a move into Copse. We'll have to tuck back in and just try and force Foster into a mistake and try and engineer a little gap out there. Meanwhile, Fleety leads from Walters, Brett, Austin, Krebs, Foldesi, Jongen, Worrell, Jacobs, Foster, Zildzovic, Ebert, Tuck Gibson, Kasbergen, Banks, Giroud, Bohm, Thorpe, Shoutin and Mecking. That's your top 20. 54 minutes to go.
So Austin's dropped back off the back of Brett here a little bit. Do we think this is due to his strategy, his tyres going off maybe, or just sheer pace of Brett?
It could be a bit of both, possibly. As you see, Zildzovic trying to engineer that gap. There was a little bump in there. They're going to go side by side through the final. I always go to call it the final corner, but it's not here. It's for Formula 1, but Zildzovic holds it up the inside in towards Abbey. Gets the move done then. Adam Foster finally relinquishes that 10th place to Alan Zildzovic. I thought Foster was going to go for a send up the inside, but thinks better of it. And Dave Zalecki, watch out, you got two angry McLarens directly behind you. And Dave lets Zildzovic go, and Foster as well. And can now breathe a little bit with Stevie Bain right behind him.
Yeah, Foster's looking racy. He wants his 10th place back.
One of those things where you can't blame him for wanting a bit of fighting, but Zildzovic has had the pace all the way through the race event. So maybe Foster, you're better off just tucking in behind and seeing if you can follow him through a little bit. I think Steve Worrell might have had another issue, just showing white flag momentarily on my system. So a little bit of trouble for him. Dropping back off of this man, Jeroen Jongen now, with 52 minutes left on the clock.
We've got Banks right on the back of Kassenberger as well. Sorry, Kasbergen as well.
Just trying to find... There's too many cars in this field. I can't find anything. Tell you what we'll look at first is Bohm and Thorpe are still going at it as well. So those two nice and close together in the two similar-ish coloured Astons.
Nice tight line through there from Thorpe as well. Just whilst Bohm gets a little bit caught up by the GT4.
Indeed. Don't think he's going to be quite close enough to do anything this time. So let's switch to that Kasbergen and Banks battle, because they'll be the first ones down the straight. Here's Banks right on the back of Peter Kasbergen in the DET white car. So plenty of these Dutch Endurance Team cars in and amongst it in the Jimmy Broadbent 2.4 hour series. A little laggy moment there. Let's hope that's not a sign of things to come. Track has remained optimum and forecast remains dry, to everyone's relief, with 51 minutes left to go. No rain due in the next 30 minutes, and it's looking pretty sunny and warm out there. Jacobs is the next car to have done all of their pit stops. Just looking back in chat, by the way. Mr. Earl saying I had to double because I forgot to request. And then Jurian Reinhardt saying, yep, exactly the same here. So people taking double stints because they're forgetting to press the request driver swap button. Ouch. Can happen to the best of us, right?
Oh, Banks having a little look there. That was very late on the brakes. Nicely turned in though.
Yeah, they're right up behind Godrecki. Says GT4 could there's a few laggy moments from Kasbergen.
I don't think the McLaren was expecting to be there then with that laggy moment. He sort of just appeared alongside him.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Zildzovic then, now he's going to set about chasing down Steve Worrell. Ah, Mr. Bleach Kingsley, there's a chatter I haven't seen for a while. Hello, sir. Hope you're well. Green flag equals it's time to send it as hard as you can. Indeed. And trust me, these guys have been.
This Banks-Kasbergen battle now, the Banks just sent it at the end of the straight, side by side out of Vale. Yeah, Kasbergen runs wide and Banks is through.
Ryan, a disaster has befallen me here.
Have you AC2'd?
No. It's a much worse disaster.
Pray tell.
My can be emptieth.
Yeah, you sound like our resident Mr. Holman himself last night in the Rookies League, chilling with Stella.
Oh dear. Ah dear. I'm sure he went off and punched a wall soon afterwards.
I don't think I've ever been in a race with Holman where he's been sober or not had a hangover. It's amazing. I don't know how he does it. He actually performs better after a few drinks.
Ah, the Willie Blackhammer strat.
Oh, it's not just a standard Irishman.
Well, yes, yeah. There was literally one Sunday race where Willie turned up, having been on it for the entirety of the weekend. The man couldn't even speak. He was just how I do. It was the best race I've ever seen Willie drive.
We've had Adam, Austin up into third, Brett back up. Brett's ping rate's gone really high. There was a swap on the timing tower then as well, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, in fact, we've just seen Brett and Chittil crash into each other. Oh, we've got Brett lag big time.
Yeah, his ping's gone full skywards.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
I was just flicking around some other cars just to check it wasn't my connection, but no, it seems like it is a Brett issue at the moment. See whether things settle back to... No, they're really not for him.
There's no worse feeling in the world when your ping just sort of shoots up and you think you've hit somebody but you've not hit someone, or you have and you thought you didn't. It's awful. I mean, yeah, his ping's dropped down again and now it's stabilised to really good actually. So hopefully just a momentary blip on that one.
Yeah, very strange. Maybe somebody else in the house was...
Oh, is where else a drive through?
Oh no, Steve. Now, I'm going to suggest that the Earl of Ipswich had left him with many track cuts. So I'm going to lay the blame at the Earl of Ipswich. And I'm sure in a moment I'll get told in chat whether I was right or wrong. I may have left him with 2. Okay, so 2 for you, 2 for him. Okay, it kind of equals out. Just also in chat, yeah, Bleach saying it's been a while. I drop him when I can. Yeah, lovely to hear you in chat. And he says always wonderful to hear you on comms. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I think when I was asking the question about what disaster had befallen me, Mr. Matt Wilmot in chat said, "Have you pooped yourself again, Adam?" Not in the last hour, no.
The fact that he says again concerns me.
He knows me all too well. Steve Burrell goes in for that drive-through. Heike van der Veen said, "I'm doing better than I thought, to be honest." Of course you are. You're doing well, my man. Good lad. Bleach then said, "Getting drunk and sim racing is a solid strat. You gain confidence and going for gaps you usually would think are too small." Not necessarily the sort of thing that we would always encourage, but yeah, why not?
I think my one experience of the social at Paul Ricard when I was steaming, that didn't go down too well. I think it was 12 seconds lap off the base.
Oh, I remember that. That's the one that I was putting on, wasn't it? And you were like, I think I might make it. Yeah, no, hang on a minute. I'm just going to have a 5th pint. I think I might still make it.
Yeah, I think I ended up with 16 track limit warnings in that race, so not bad going for a track limit race.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Should we go check in on GT4 leader? See how he's...
Look at Mr. Bain in the GT4s as well. Not sure how our prediction panned out, but he's running 4th at the minute, and we thought he might have been 2nd.
Yeah, I think we can't add up.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know what that noise was, by the way. That was just the general sound of a Friday night, just going... You got much planned for the weekend?
The oNiD race on Sunday night around Zolder, which should be good fun. And then I've got a week away, so I'll probably be packing and getting ready for that.
Nice. Where are you going? Anywhere nice?
Just down to Abersock with the family for the week, so yeah, should be nice.
Yeah,
Nice to
well,
get everyone.
fingers crossed on the weather for you.
Yeah,
Although,
it's North Wales, so there's no guarantees.
well, no, there is a guarantee when you go to North Wales that it'll be wet at some point.
Yep, absolutely.
Still, nice part of the world. Very underrated is Wales, I think. But I tell you, I took a drive today because I've got an event over this weekend in Buxton. It's a lovely part of the world anyway, but the drive from here to Buxton is just one of the most picturesque roads in the world.
It's amazing, isn't it? Up towards Cat and Fiddle.
No, for me, it's I go up across the... So I go the back routes from here up through... I'm trying to explain it in a way that will make sense to many people that don't live in this area, but basically I cut through sort of halfway between Buxton and Leek, up over the tops, and then take the A53 into Buxton, and it's just absolutely stunning, the scenery.
Yeah, beautiful neck of the woods, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I just think that it's just on my doorstep. I feel so lucky sometimes that we have that on our doorstep. You know, within 10 minutes of leaving the house, I'm in the Peak District. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful part of the world.
What is beautiful is how Thorpe is catching up to the back of your road here. See what I did there?
Oh, that's very nice, yeah. Oh, you're not so bad at this, are you?
He's bringing him in.
He is. Meanwhile, we've just seen Foldesi dive for the pits, by the way. But this is your Giroud and Thorpe battle. So we got past Bolm in the end. And now chasing down that McLaren. Bleach has just asked us to send a message to all of the drivers out there to send it more.
Have it large.
I'll tell you what we haven't done.
We've been... whilst we've been discussing, we've got Austin on the back of Brett again. With Zalek in between. He's lost a bit of time there, but 3/10 off each other at the last beam anyway.
Lovely stuff. I'm just going to... the one thing we haven't done in this stream so far is we haven't run a prediction. So, oh no, Foldesi picks up an SG30. Oh, that's painful. Yeah. So, will Bain get a drive-through before the end? That is what... So for those of you who are not familiar to the world of oNiD, he is called Drive-Through Bain for a reason. Now, we already know that earlier on in the race he said he was on 2 track limit warnings. He's still got a pit stop left to do. But we are asking the question in chat. You'll get it pop up right now. You'll get 2 minutes to vote with your channel points. So vote, vote, vote. It will pop up right now. There it is. So will Bain get a drive-through before the end? Vote yes or no. Use some channel points. You could win some channel points. It's a bit of harmless gambling. What do you reckon? A yes or a no?
Oh, it's Bain, so it's got to be a yes, hasn't it?
Do you know what? I'm gonna have to get my phone, log in, and put my own vote in, I think.
With last night's poll, would the tyre stack at his lots last longer than race 1? The drivers in public chat actually conspired and hit it on the warm-up lap, but it didn't show on the stream for some reason. so it got yeeted into the lake.
So, Sop Motorsport, thanks for the follow. Right, hang on, what am I doing here? I am opening Twitch because I want to have a little vote here as well. Now, Matt Wilmot is in chat and says, I'm in chat with Bain, and he says, that's not very nice. No, it's not. But people aren't very nice to me either, so... Oh, I just turned the stream on my phone, so I just needed to turn the volume down. Right, here you are then. Apparently I'm not very nice. I'm going to whack 3,500 channel points on no. There we go. There we go.
Well, this could go either of two ways now. Does he do it just so you lose your channel points, or...
Oh, Bane, you wouldn't, would you? Yeah, you would, actually.
You would.
We're going to need some more people to vote, though, because at the moment, I wouldn't win very much. Dear. So, there we go. Submissions closed. Somebody else whacked in another 2,000 on no as well, so, yeah, good stuff. If he does get one, then oh, well done. So Matt threw another 2,000 in. So if he does get one, then whoever put in 240 points on yes could stand to gain a huge amount of channel points as a result. But there we go. There we go.
We've got Banks through on Shoot Gibson through the Vale Chicane.
I'm just picking up on the Giroud and Thorpe battle, because Thorpe is getting ever closer. They're just catching up Rob Zemanska in front of them as well to put a lap on Rob in the BMW. So Giroud through, Thorpe goes to the outside, and they've now got a GT4 in the mix, and then they've got WVO to get past as well.
Yeah, a tricky situation there. A lapped car lapping a lapped car that's lapping lapped cars.
I'm glad you followed that. I'm not sure I did. Excuse me, coughing away in the background. So there is Bane, who you've all been voting on. See whether old Stevie manages to hold off without the old DT against his name.
Austin Brett down to 6/10 now as well, as Brett and Austin both pit at the same time.
Ooh, that's interesting. So we will have a look at that. There you can see them going in together. So we'll check back in on that one in just a moment. Now, Walters, I think... Yes, Walters has been off, look. So Walters from second. Let's see what happened. Oh, we missed it again. He's just gone straight on at Beckett's, by the looks of it. Rejoins the track there, so don't know how much time he will have lost, but he certainly lost some in the process. Kasbergen, I think, is a lap down on him there. Meanwhile, let's check in on Brett and Austin. So there's Brett.
Okay, Austin's on the move. This will be interesting to see now.
Oh, this is going to be close.
Very close. Oh, he just puts him. Wow.
Very similar to how they came in. So, Sop Motorsport saying, come on, Peter, get a move on. Earl of Ipswich, rather unnecessarily then, says Peter is a traitor. Wow. Don't know what's going on there. That seems overly harsh. There we go. So these two back out on track. Oh, Krebs with the yellow flags. I wonder if he's just had a moment with a backmarker. And here comes Foldesi through there. But that's not for position. So
I've really done that times.
Earl just clarifying that apparently he left their team first, Sop, and then said, haha, only messing, I love Peter. Right, there we go. Okay. Cleared that one up. Cleared that one up, we did. Now, let's go check in on our man Dave Zalecki, just letting Adam Foster through. Had a bit of a tough night, 7 laps down. had some damage to fix at one point. Somebody else having a tough night is this Go for the Gap entry for it was Leah in the car earlier, and now it's Dan Hyde. Earl of Ipswich revealing too much about his love life with Peter, by the sounds of it. Jacobs. Jacobs is off. Let's see if we can pick up what happened in a replay. So what do we think is going to happen here? Something with the back marker, or is he going to lose it by himself? What do you reckon, Ryan?
I'm going to say back marker.
You're saying back marker. I think you're probably going to be right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I think that was one going right, one going left, and in the middle.
Ouch. Ouch.
As Bork has managed to do your road in the pit stops, I think. As Skip's back in the car, yeah, they've done them.
Oh,
so,
very good. Oh, look! Jongen past Jacobs. I mean, I think that's a lap on him now, but either way, just amusing to see him finally just sort of breeze past him. After all that earlier. Now, Zildzovic just coming out of the pits. He's taking his final stop. So we've got Fleety, Krebs, Jongen, Foster, Worrell, Tuck Gibson, Bohm, Zemanska, Thorpe, and a few others yet to take their final stops. Everyone else kind of racing to the finish now. Sam Fleety is still your race leader. And I'm assuming, therefore, we'll hand over to Nuttall for the final stint.
Yeah, we've got Krebs in now as well, Jongen in. So that's going to move people up the order. I'm going to guess that Foster's going to dive in this lap as well.
Let's see whether you're right. He's stuck. Oh, a little punt of a GT4. That was a little bit uncalled for. Oh. I don't like to say karma, but
yeah, I think that was a bit too eager. Well, my prediction of him pitting this time was right anyway. So.
Yeah,
I'll take the positives.
Indeed. Well, Foster coming in. My screen's going nuts because there's so many cars in the pits right now. Yeah, let's check on Petr Jelinek. Prescott's got drive through. That's unfortunate. Bain still doesn't. So, Matt, our points are looking pretty safe at the moment. Although, actually, having said that, there's still half an hour left, and I've seen Bain get himself 7 or 8 track cut warnings in a half-hour race. So half hour's a long time in the world of Bain.
I felt for Bain the other day in the York Park race. Unfortunately, was under-fueled by 1.5 litres, so I had to pit on the final lap as well. Ooh. So hopefully none of that tonight.
Oh, that's pain, absolute pain. Still, pain. Could have been worse. Could have been my race. Foldesi picks up. I think that's a second drive through.
Yeah, I think so.
So things going from bad to worse for Foldesi. What are we watching out for right now, Ryan? What's the big story left to play out, do you feel?
Well, we've obviously got the Bain drive-through thing, but I'm really eager to see how this Austin-Brett battle plays out. From Austin taking an early pit stop and then picking his way back through the field, it could have been a good call on strategy there.
Yeah, last lap he was 0.3 faster than Brett. Let's see what it is this time around. So Brett does a 59.0 and actually Austin a 59.5. So lost a little bit of time on that lap. Doesn't quite add up with the gap, but anyway, never mind. Such is life.
Brett's round! He's dropped it. I think there was contact in Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel with a GT3 or a GT4.
Well, let's find out. Here comes the replay. So it goes a long way back. So we'll get to see all of the build-up to this one. So it comes through Cops just fine.
Yeah.
Who's that in front of him then? So I think that's Tomlinson, the GT4 in the... Oh, he dropped it all by himself.
Oh, was it on his own? Ah,
Yeah.
shame.
Oh, how painful that was. That's a really painful mistake. So so now that Austin has breezed past Brett, what's the big story that we should be looking out for between now and the end of the race?
Come on, Steve, don't fail me now. Oh, he's in the pits. Okay, let's switch to Bain.
Uh-oh.
Oh, was Austin goes off as well?
Yeah, actually, Austin did just have a bit of a moment.
Wow, Austin's struggling here all of a sudden.
Yeah, Bain just coming out of the pits, by the way. No drive-through! Oh, Dave Zalecki's got an SG30, though. So Steve Bain has managed to do 3 pit stops without a drive-through tonight. Something must be broken.
Oh. I feel for Dave Zalecki. The SG30 is just insults to injury there, isn't it?
Oh, isn't it just?
Yeah, feel for the guy.
Just taking a ride on board with Leighton Austin. In fact, Ryan and I will just go quiet for this lap, so you can enjoy a lap of Silverstone with Leighton Austin. .24.5 minutes to go. You join us live for the last 24 minutes of this 2.4-hour race. This is the Jimmy Broadbent powered by oNiD series. Round 2 at Silverstone. We've been going for 2 hours and we've got just the 24 minutes left to bring us home, and you can follow the last bit of the action live here. That was a lap with Leighton Austin. I did notice a rather rude comment in chat from Stephen Bain, so I'm just going to go and check. I know I thought it might have been that he'd got a drive-through, but no, I think he was just being rude. I can't repeat it, but it was very Scottish. Ryan, did you manage to survive that chill-out lap without falling asleep?
It was, you know what, it was very sedate from him, wasn't it? Just sedate, controlled. Yeah, everything going to plan by the looks.
It was quite soothing.
Yeah. It's given me a chance to
Fantastic development,
come up with story of the race, and I'm going to go with Zildovic making his comeback now. He's gained a couple of places through people pitting. Worrell's just pitted. 1.6 back off Jongen at the minute as well. So
yes, Zildzovic in that garage 59 McLaren. We'll see how he gets on between now and the end of the race. We just had a follow from Fleety, so I'm assuming that's Sam Fleety. Great stint from you tonight, Sam. Great driving, and thanks for the follow of oNiD Racing. His teammate is back in the car, Jamie Nuttall, 23 seconds to the good out front. That 114 car, you know, not tempting any fate here, but looking pretty strong right now, Ryan, to bring it home with 22 minutes to go.
yeah, if you can just sort of maintain that now, then job's a good one. The battle rages on between Skip and Jacobs at the minute as well. Both just caught behind the GT4 in Maggots, Beckett's Chapel.
Oof, yeah, they really are. So they move out behind Rodriguez, and I think, is that BP there trying to unlap himself?
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not sure.
And that's Austin now trying to put a lap on Jacobs, and well, that was robust overtaking under blue flags, but gets the job done.
He's sort of easing up to let Austin through there, and he's let Skip through at the same time.
I'm trying to work out. So is that Tuck Gibson now in that 55 car? Yes, it is. That's Tuck Gibson, so it must be sharing with BP up the inside then, and gets back past Jacobs. But yeah, so we lost out in all of that. Well spotted.
Yeah. Jacobs had a mere half of a lap there.
As must have, I'll try saying that again, shall I? As must have Jerome Jongen, because he's now got Zildzovic all over the back of him, just as you predicted. Here comes Alan Zildzovic. Dave's been disqualified. May have forgotten to serve that SG30.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Wah, wah, wah. Don't expect it from an experienced man like Dave as well, but yeah. Happens to all of us. Now,
as well.
sorry, say that again, Ryan.
One just to keep an eye on as well. I'm not sure what his pace is at the minute, but just keep an eye on the rate that Baines Tomlinson maybe.
Okay, we will do. We'll keep an eye on this one for the moment. As you see, Zildzovic getting closer and closer to Jongen. Tuck Gibson has got a yellow flag, so I don't know what's happened there. But as we cross the line here, Jongen does a 59.7. Zildzovic does a 59.2. So a good half a second faster than the yellow machine directly in front of him at this moment in time. Your top 10 then with under 20 minutes to go. Oh, as we see Jongen drop it on the curb, and Zildzovic is through. So that battle's done. Let's go check in on Bain then, and whether he is catching Tomlinson. If he is, then he's got a long way to go.
I think he just let some GC3 traffic for him, just dropped a bit more time there then.
Yeah, and there goes Brett sweeping through. I think Van Oosten just recovering from a bit of a moment down through the complex. Krebs, I think, has got an issue as well. I think we might have lost Krebs.
Yeah, I think so, because Tonks has just moved up a position as well whilst he was following him on board, so...
Yeah, we've just lost Krebs from the server. So, don't know exactly what's happened there. Zildzovic just getting held up a little bit behind Keys, and Jongen staying with him. Dave says, just a terrible race for me. Lost my bottle after being put in a wall. Was enjoying myself fighting for third in class, then dropped to 12th in class. Yeah, tough night, Dave. We can go again in 2 weeks' time. That's when the next round of this series is. And don't ask me where, because I don't know.
That was going to be my next question. Do a Johnny put on the spot.
Oh, Matt's asked me in chat, where is it, Adam? So I'm now going to have to go and look it up. So bear with me. It won't take me long, thanks to the majesty that is SGP. Well, it wouldn't do if...
if Gibson, Giroud and Jacobs. 3 McLarens battling here. Wow.
Oh, we have, yes. So here they go. So Jacobs is the blue one, Tuck Gibson the silver, and then the orange one is Giroud. So they side by side into the chicane. Oh my god. I don't have to look it up. Dave's already answered the question. It's Monza, the next one. Oh my god. I am looking forward to that one already. Race over before turn 2. Although, do you know what? The last couple of races I've done at Monza have been very, very clean. Yes, it is Monza.
Yeah, that took a moment to sink in then.
Yeah. Oh, Monza. I wonder whether there might be an opportunity at some point in this season to swap a track out for, I don't know, there might be some new tracks floating around in ACC, mightn't there? Have you tried them yet?
I have not. I've only ever driven them on Project Cars 2. Hoping to make a bit of a day of it tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, I've driven like 2 laps at Kota. That's it. That's all I had time for. When I should have been practicing Alton Park. But yeah, I had 2 laps of Kota. I love Kota, especially the first half of the lap. It is just wow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some racing done there. I know that Johnny and crew held a bit of a social around Watkins Glen last night, where Johnny murdered, I think, everyone. Without any, what's the word I'm looking for? Without any prejudice at all. He made sure he took everyone out last night. It was a good job. It was proper return of the Johnny crash last night. But yeah, and then as for Indy, I've always struggled at that place wherever I've tried to race it.
Sorry, I got distracted by Karsbergen and Bollum then, both with a slide coming into the Formula 1 T1. Very close there.
Indeed, I think this is our closest battle on track right now. So Bohm just ahead of Karsbergen. Both of these two have had an eventful race. In fact, the whole race has been pretty eventful. We've had, I mean, if any of you guys missed the first half an hour, 45 minutes of this race, I would seriously recommend watching it back at some point over the next couple of days here at the oNiD Racing Twitch channel, because Ryan, that was some hell of a what was it, a 6-way battle at one point for the lead.
Yeah, that was one hell of a train going on towards the front, wasn't it?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, let's not start that again. I don't know if you heard the stream from Tuesday night. It all got a bit silly about transport, and we don't want to go down that route again.
I did have a little laugh over that one.
You know when things are coming out of your mouth and you don't quite understand what you're saying, and then afterwards you sit back and you think, what? That was one of those.
It was when you got into the whole Googling of boats with single masts or something.
Yep, that's right. It was a sloopy or something, I think, if I remember rightly. Earl of Ipswich just confirming what we just said. First half an hour, honestly, the best thing I've ever been involved with. Well, that is praise indeed from someone called the Earl of Ipswich. Yeah, so make sure you watch that one back if you haven't seen it yourself. It was really, really good. Bowman Kasbergen getting through the back markers here.
Yeah, Van der Veen moving out the way nicely there.
Good man, Hiker. That's what we like to see. And now they're coming up against Hooter in the GT4 Aston. Past Woodley as well. Kasbergen finding it a little bit more difficult with Hooter because Hooter trying to make up a place as well. But Bohm is through. Kasbergen is through. And then there is a little bit of contact a bit further back. I've just seen, I think Worrell is having a tricky time. He's dropped to 9th. Of course, he did pick up that penalty, which didn't help. Talking of penalties, quick Bane check. Still no penalties.
Unacceptable. Letting the side down.
He's flashing us. He can hear us. Good man. Good man. As for your tip for pole, that qualified 10th, Leighton Austin, he is down to 7.3 behind Walters. I don't think he's quite got the time to catch Walters and threaten second, but third would be a very good result off the back of the difficult qualifying for Austin.
Yeah, just looking at the times as well. I'm not sure if it's Austin reeling Walters in. Sorry, if it's Nuttall pulling away or if Walters has had a moment. The gap's gone from like 22 seconds up to like 33, very quick there.
Yeah, well, actually, so Nuttall is on fastest lap pace at the minute. He did a 58.3 last time around, which matches the fastest lap of the race. So Nuttall absolutely flying. A little bit slower this time around. Walters, however, down in the mid-59s, as is Austin. I think Brett has just had a bit of a tricky moment. Has dropped a little bit of time. But, yeah, I think Austin beginning to close up on Walters a bit.
Yeah.
But not quite enough time to do anything about him. So gap out front now, 31 seconds. Yeah, the gap, Walters to Austin down to 6.7.
10 minutes to go. Do you think there's enough time?
Caught by 7/10 in that last lap. So that's 7/10 in 2 minutes. You've got 5 times 7/10.